a little bit overrated, but it's still a good one. Is this one your favorite because it's good, or are you just really horny? All right, we get it. You like this one.
If you heard anything, no you didn't. Alright, you know what? Fuck it. We're here. We are here. We are queer. I am. We are live. Hello! Happy New Year! Did I make it? You did indeed make it! We literally just started. We are starting right now, right here. Happy New Year, everybody! I'm not gonna lie, it does not feel like 2026. It does not even feel like it's a new year for me. New Year's didn't feel like New Year's for me. But yeah. My god. Jesus. To be fair, my New Year's also was like nothing special at all. I was at home. My grandparents were visiting their our relatives over New Year's, so they were gone, so I was alone in my home and I was watching the dogs and I was just vibing. I am doing fine. I've been sleeping a little oddly these past couple days, but I think it's just because I've been having weird dreams. I've been having like weird Deltarune related dreams that were also kind of creepy and like semi-realistic in the way that, like, I don't know, they were weird. Unpleasant at times, and that kind of woke me up. But whatever. Yeah, dude, the Deltarune brain rot has infested my brain. It has infested my dreams. It's so back. It's so back. Since I've caught up with chapters 3 and 4, it's been on my mind non-stop. Yeah, dude. I will also, this is also a disclaimer that, I will try, actually no, I will not try. If you hear me making Deltarune references wherever I deem them appropriate, a lot, you've been warned. And also, I am planning to Chapter 5 is coming out this year, right? My god, it is technically this year. So we will also be streaming Deltarune Chapter 5 onwards. That's gonna be a thing. And before that, we're gonna have Deltarune streams. Plural, maybe, at least singular. To get you all caught up on, you know, my Deltarune brain and characters. We're probably gonna do a tier list and theories and stuff. Deltarune could be tomorrow. You are very correct. What were reviews more or less about? Let me think. It was about... Let me try to think. I know that the knight showed up at some point. That is what I know. There were a couple of the characters were there. There was a section where that was all about the shelter and Undyne and trying to save Undyne, which did not work because the shelter turned out to be some really like creepy catacomb-esque place that was like very realistic and low-key horrifying. So yeah. I'm pretty sure Susie was in there once, though. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I remember my daughter being there once. I need to get something real quick. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Undyne's messing up the night in that damn shelter. Dude, I am so curious. I wonder if we're even gonna get into that in chapter 5, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I wonder if we're even gonna get to the shelter in chapter 5, because technically, like, we do have allegedly a week before Undyne, or before Undyne possibly is supposed to be sacrificed, or someone is supposed to be sacrificed. So I wonder if we're even gonna get into it then. Welcome to the has-had prophetic fever dreams about Deltarune Club. Yeah, dude, imagine we just get there, we just enter the shelter, and the knight is just lies there, fucking dead as hell, beaten to a pulp, and Undyne just stands above them. And we don't even have to do anything. We just leave with her. Police sacrifice tomorrow! But yeah, as soon as we know, like, a release date for Deltarune, we are gonna have at least one stream where I'm gonna be, number one, doing a tier list, so you guys can have a better idea of which characters slash scenes slash, you know, content I am going to be more excited about, you know, based on my favorite characters. And also going into, like, theories that I personally stick to, believe in, have convinced me, and things that interest me that I want to know. And we are also obviously gonna play both Pacifist and the Weird Route, obviously. The only one that doesn't know the finale of the prophecy is the Flayer. True, Chris does. Like, Ralsei knows, Susie knows now, Chris definitely knows. But the Soul or Weeb don't. And hell, everyone probably knows except us. Mania, welcome in! I'm dead. Fair. But Happy New Year. Chris' hand theory is real. Oh, is that the one about Chris losing their hand? Or arm? That I saw? Which would be very interesting. It'd be really interesting. I don't want to get into it too much. Like, Deltarune theories is like something that you can, like, we could spend an entire stream talking about. I don't want to do that now. But you know what? Maybe we will, maybe like, once there's a couple of things or a couple of videos that I have to finish editing. The Ace Attorney video, the HSR Ace Attorney video, I am like 2/3 of the way done. So I'm gonna finish those up. I still need to fully edit the last part of the quest tier list with Nova. The second part should go up next week at most. Then I want to update at least one of my HSR tier lists. The just like ranking the characters, you know, best to worst and stuff. I want to update that one, which is probably going to be shorter because it's only going to be, you know, the 3.x cast and characters that have returned since, or have had a bigger role since. So that's what, 4? 1, 2, 3. That'll be 4 videos. And of course the usual, you know, like new trailers and drip marketing and stuff, which we have gotten now, which we're gonna get into in a minute. That kind of that stuff. And once I've done at least 2 of those videos, we might just have a Deltarune stream. Not gonna lie, we might just have a Deltarune stream. Just a Deltarune tier list yapping stream. I did actually, yes, I did. There was something about, like, the shadow crystals, a little bit of talking. I'm presumably Susie talking about Chris and Azriel's relationship, or, you know, having a chat about that. There was what? The worm, the caked up worm. I forgot what else. Something about actually, wait, there was something about a TV which makes me think of Spamton. I want to see Spamton again. I miss Spamton, and I miss Tenna. I'm definitely gonna have one save where I keep Tenna in the Dark World. I don't give him to Metaton. Just to, you know, see what happens there. Because I miss my little guy. My very traumatized guy. Yeah, like, TV's being good at talking but not good at listening makes me think, like, that has to be... Well, that could be either Spamton, or it could be, Badat, Mike, talking. Everyone after chapter 4, dude. Not gonna lie, when I watched the playthroughs of chapters 3 and 4, I at first I didn't think, or I didn't realize that Spamton and that Spam Tenna was such a big thing at first. Until one day, out of nowhere, my timeline was just flooded with the Spam Tenna fan art, and I was like, hold on a moment. Wait? And then I just looked more into it, and I realized that, my god, these bitches gay as fuck! And divorced as fuck! And... now yeah. Now I'm here. I love Spam Tenna. Why did the fact, like, well, no, I would say, why does all the yaoi have to be doomed and toxic in the Undertale, Deltarune, the Delta Tale verse? But we do have the two buff guards, and they're happy. So you know what? We'll take that. Let Metaton learn to be gay. But yeah, I'm like, right now I have I'm currently playing through the pacifist run on one save where I have everything except for the fucking egg, because I forgot to get it in chapter 1. I forgot to look up where to get the egg in chapter 1. So the pacifist run that I have is like basically everything minus the eggs. I'm gonna have the weird route where I see the sensible thing would be to, you know, just go full weird route and full genocide, like kill everything, like recruit no one. But that also means letting Jack and Stein and Tenna die, and I don't want that, so I might not do that. And then I want to have like one normal route or neutral route where I'm gonna keep Tenna in the Dark World, and I'm gonna get the eggs there. I'm gonna have like, for like some like little things that might affect the story later on that I couldn't get or couldn't do in my pacifist run. Undyne and Alphys, I mean, they're not toxic, and doomed not, I mean, they're only doomed if we don't save Undyne. Otherwise, they're fine. Like Delta Tale games, another case of where the Yuri is very, it's pretty wholesome. All in all. Blaze, welcome in. I have a screenshot from my first Deltarune playthrough where my friend was like, I can't wait for people to hop on Spam Tenna. And I was like, it's already getting there? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Jebel and Sean, true. Yeah, it's all toxic. Even Asgore and Rudy, doomed yaoi. Divorced man, married man, dying married man. Yeah, one thing I gotta say is that I do love that we just have everything in Deltarune. Like, we have everything. In fact, I think the funniest thing is that, like, the main, how'd I say it? Nope. I think one of the funniest things is that when it comes to like toxicity, only the Yuri has been spared. all the yaoi is doomed or toxic in one way or another. The straight people, not doing too hot either. They're divorcing left and right. Well, El Nino and Elena are back together now. But my god. Waleed, here's an option. All. To be fair, I am very much just, oh god. What is Susie's and Noelle's name? Suzelle? Is that it? I am, like, very much on that train. Chris and Noelle, see, I get it, but also the weird rude, which I know it's not Chris. I know it's the soul making Chris do all that. But the weird rude's existence kind of puts me off of that ship because it makes me low-key uncomfortable. Not that I don't get it. Not that I don't get it. But just, like, the potential there, which, look at me wrong, it is beautiful. It is delectable angst potential. Just not for me personally. And, Cruzy is just cute. I do like them more as besties, but I get it. I get it. Like, so far, I don't really ship Chris with anyone. Well, listen. I just think Chris and Birdly is funny as fuck. It is funny as hell. Low-key, currently is so funny. I'm kind of loving it. I'm kind of loving it. I'm kind of loving it. I may be a currently truther. Listen, I love Birdly. Birdly is so... I love Birdly. That's my son. That's my son. I don't think it's a surprise that I love him. That's my little gremlin. My little emotionally constipated... special little guy. Chris is a power bottom. I mean, to be fair, I'm not gonna get into too much into like those kinds of dynamics, considering they're all teenagers. But you know, I do just think that Chris and Birdly is a fun dynamic. Birdly is insane. Birdly is I do hope we get more. I trust that we do. We gotta get some more Birdly character development. He's like halfway there. He's halfway to acknowledging his Dark World development. He's getting there. I'm so curious about the festival. Oh, another doomed yaoi, possible doomed yaoi that I forgot to mention. Fucking Pizza Pants and nice guy, ice cream guy, Bunny. They're everywhere. That's my Snowgrave Big Stinky. Yeah. I do also want to do one route where instead of just killing instead of freezing Birdly, you just you just hurt him, which I think is like can be done like a couple different ways. One is if you choose to fight Queen, and like don't save Birdly like soon enough, like where you actually just attack Queen at the fight at the end, and Birdly ends up like trying to free himself and frying his arm. And I think I've heard that if you just like if you don't freeze Birdly, if you just beat him with Noelle in the weird route, then he's also gonna end up hurt or something. Doom, but for different reasons, true. Can't believe they straight baited us. Goddamn. Anyway, all this to say, we do need a Deltarune stream at some point. As soon as I free up my space a bit more, my backlog a bit more, we're gonna have a stream. We're gonna have a stream. I wholly accept that Asgore ran over Des. Oh no. I like that Chris helps Birdly and Snowgrave. Like, even if you're not yaoi pilled, it's a good patch. I mean, to be fair, it's not yaoi. To be fair, it's not yaoi pilled. It's well, it's neither yaoi nor yo. It's queer pilled, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I am so excited for chapter 5, and now for our future Deltarune stream where we just yap about characters and theories and stuff. Anyway, enough of that. I'm not gonna lie. The thumbnail says Ace Attorney. However, that might be bait, because we have a few things coming up today, and depending on how much time we have later and how I feel later, we might not even get to Ace Attorney at all. So we'll have to see. First things first, we got some HSR stuff coming up. First things first. We have, finally, after an unfortunate delay that they couldn't really do anything about, but that has held up the drip marketing for, I think, 3-ish weeks or something, we finally get to have a look at our 4.0 characters. And also, our first aha instant, which is an interesting header. We're gonna be starting with the one that remarketed first, which is also our first Elation character, Yao Guang, whom I think we haven't really seen or heard much of, except for we've heard her voice. But besides that, I don't think we've known much about her. Physical elation. Do we read first, or do we just look at her art first? You know what? We'll read first, and then we'll look at her art. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Wouldn't be the first time you're bored in an Ace Attorney stream. That is true. If so, I apologize. Let's see here. Yao Guang. I am General Yao Guang, seer strategist aboard the Shenzhou Yuchue, I think it is pronounced. Like everyone else, you may simply call me Madame Yao. It's true, I could have divined the finer details of this encounter, but where's the fun in that? Being here in person has turned up some rather pleasant surprises. Her mysterious, bold, and radical actions were so revolutionary that they left everyone stunned. She saw all fortune, good and ill, through the eye of the quote, eye of the hunt. Yet knowing that fate is not to be defied, the seer strategist still faced the danger alone. To be dealt such a cursed fortune, how can one ever hope to alter their fate? Interesting. Aha, special shout out to Yao Guang for winning number 1, the Xianzhou's chosen seer, and number 1, that general's got a wild streak. So I'm assuming this is gonna be like a thing for every 4.x character. They're just gonna get like their little silly awards, because I think Sparkle, I mean Totally Not Sparkle, has that as well. But yeah, another general with white hair, which at this point might just be a requirement. I did not expect her to be Elation. I definitely didn't expect her to be Elation. That did come as a surprise. She saw all fortune, good and ill, through the eye of the hunt. Knowing that fate is not to be defied, the seer strategist still faced the danger alone. To be dealt such a cursed fortune, how can one ever hope to alter their fate? So was she trying to defy fate? Is that what I'm getting here? Still face danger alone, despite knowing that fate is not to be defied. Interesting. This implies that it's Aha themselves who's giving these drips. Honestly, that'd be great. That'd be amazing. Oh no, bye Star, but thank you for popping in. Appreciate it. Okay, let's have a look at her appearance, because I've already seen some people have share their opinions about her outfit, not liking it too much. Personally, I fuck with it. I think the colors are very pretty. I would have to see the other side. I would have to see the other side, honestly. Just, you know, to be sure. But I really like the colors. The peacock, very pretty. I like her accessories. Especially like whoops. Like her hand accessories, the nail polish, small little things, very pretty, very pretty. This is very interesting. First of all, I didn't even notice there were 3 eyes. I didn't even notice those were 3. I only saw those 2. I didn't see that was 3 eyes. Those are just Aventurine's eyes. That's very interesting. I do wonder if that has any connection. I feel like these eyes are so special that they should have, because I think that's also the exact order. I think Aventurines are also blue on the outside and purple on the in, or like pink, magenta-ish on the inside. So I do wonder if there's anything to that. The peacock aesthetic I like very much. I like her shoes. Her shoes are so pretty. Like, aesthetically, she is gorgeous. She is also, as some people have already said, very much fucking post-HRT Finon. Congrats on the transition. She does give off very, just female Finon. But, yeah, no, she is very pretty. 5 eyes, 2 more at the... Wait. The left of her hand. Wait. Oh! Oh, I didn't see that! Oh, yeah! Oh, interesting. Oh, and they're like, yeah, they're like in the... On the feather. Like, what do you call that? Like on the back, or I guess front of the feather. Interesting. Interesting. There's also some text back here, which I don't know if this is anything. If it is, then please let me know. But, yeah. No, she's pretty. She's pretty. I do like her design. She reminds me of Vita. I can see that, yeah. I can see that from what I've seen of Vita. I think they're supposed to be her eyes, not Aventurine's, but they do. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. They are probably her eyes, but they do like it's the same like shape and appears to be at least a very similar color to Aventurine's. The resemblance is very strong. So I wonder if there's anything more to that. Whether it's just peacock girlies. I count Aventurine as a peacock girly. Or whatever the case. Whatever the case. I mean, we also know that Enna has the blue and pink eyes. And Clocky. Under circumstances. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. First elation unit that I am probably not going to be pulling for because I'm still saving. But it is going to give us a good idea of what the elation is going to be about. Her kit, and also probably the kit of our next character. Who was marketed earlier today. I'm gonna assume that the X is pronounced like an X, so it would be Sparksy? Sparksy, which is kind of a silly name, I'm not gonna lie. I wonder if they had to change that. I do wonder if they had to change that. We got our Sparkle SP! I will say, straight off the bat, I like this design of her much more than her original. So much more. It is, in my opinion, so much better. So much better. We're gonna read first again, and, well, I mean, there's less to read than, with Yao Guang. And then we're gonna get into her design. By what we know in lore, she's around the age of Jingyuan, or even older, and we heard her voice when we talked to Luocha and Jingliu, and during the war against Iron Tomb. Yeah, she's appeared like a few times here and there. Are they ever gonna make a connection between peacocks and Enna? I wish they would. Wish they would. You like red, black, and white? No. Whatever gave you that idea? I don't know. That seems like a stretch. Me? No. I have an idea. I did see something, Fuyat, about her name. I'm not gonna say it because it is leaks, but I do have an idea. I'm gonna assume that they changed her name from something else that may not have been considered appropriate to use instead. Fun fact, in Spanish she's called chispa, that means sparkle, so in Spanish she's called sparkle. Oh, interesting. On hindsight, should have seen that one coming. I mean, yeah, literally, look at like my favorite characters in all of fictional media, and you will see a pattern. In gacha games, in regular games, in anime, in any other piece of fictional media, you will see a pattern. It is the red, black, and white. It's the red, pinkish. Yeah. Purple's the best, most supreme colors. I'm not a fan of purple. It depends what kind of purple. I like Zeala's and Acheron's purples, which are kind of like more like a violet thing. In JP, they just flipped the kanji. Oh. Okay, let's read first. Galactic Baseballer, welcome to the stream. To the stream. Oh, right. Right, I forgot. There was that. I'm your good friend Sparksy. Are you ready for a day overflowing with dopamine? The world is full of sparkle. So don't forget to shine brightly just like Sparksy. So I'm gonna be assuming, yeah. I mean, assume it seems pretty obvious that the set was about her. The streamer planner set thing, definitely hers. Thumbs up, follow, stream, views! Party till the world ends! Sparksy and Sparkle, the mask and the fool are fundamentally the same. Interesting, the mask and the fool. Whoever is seen, whoever is liked is the correct answer. Special shout out to Sparksy for winning #1 Plan Arcadia Highlight Reel Machine, and most likely everywhere at once. Because of course, Sparkle is everywhere. Fire relation. Let's have a closer, Let's have a closer look at her design. Because I do really like her design. Like, aesthetically, it's very pretty. As someone's already said, it's very Alice in Wonderland. Very Alice in Wonderland. Like the colors, the frills, is that a little bunny there? Is that like the white half seems like bunny, but this doesn't really? It's some kind of black and white thing, creature. We have this little thing, whatever that is. But, yeah. Streamer Sparkle. And she's not as, oh yeah, she has, the heart on this side of her eyes and the, little, I think it's a diamond maybe, a white diamond on her left. So, stepping away from the symmetry that her initial design has, it seems. Yeah, she is very cute. I like her shoes. I'm sorry. I'm focusing on. I like pretty shoes. Okay, I like pretty shoes. I don't care about feet, but I like pretty shoes, and those are very pretty. Bunny hat too. Oh yeah, I didn't even see that. The bunny hat. Yeah, and then a little octopus there. I think. No, that's not octopus. That's this thing. It's upside down. They hit the Mad Hatter with the waifu beam. If you look at the Benzo planner, you can see the sparkle of the sphere, which means her design wasn't changed due to political. Oh, interesting. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't. If that's the case. Also, think about Yao Guang. Hold on. The thing about defying fate is the fact she can still see all good things and bad things that'll happen to the Xianzhou thanks to the Eye of Yuchuan. She might be tried. Yeah, maybe. Like, she might be having like an edge on that because technically she can see what's going to happen, but whether that ends up, mattering much is another thing. Red and black like card suits. True. In DU, there's a golden curie that buffs skill point characters of the imaginary quantum and fire. So, yeah, there is definitely speculation already that, and like actual speculation, because I think also of the event, that one Elation-themed event, that the Elation is going to be playing a lot with skill points, which, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It'll depend on how they implement it. I would have loved to see more. I mean, maybe they're gonna do that still. Like playing with like the aftertaste damage that we have in like DU and SU with the elation blessings. Symmetrical shoes in my Hoyo game. I mean, to be fair, actually, well, the shoes, yes, but she is wearing like, is that a rainbow sock? I know what you are. Like a sock with one and just like the strap thing with the other, for the other shoe. Not technically leaked, since in the 3.7 planner set she is named. Oh, she's directly named there? If so, I didn't know that actually. If so, I don't know. Due to the way her name is localized across languages, I kind of prefer her silly streamer names to just literal Japanese name. Yeah, I get that. Her Japanese name is Hanabi, right? To be fair, Hanabi is a pretty name. You think she smokes weed like the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland? Listen, I don't think she just smokes weed. She probably is covering all of her bases. I don't think she gives two fucks. I don't think she cares, like, at all. The name of her planner is just her JP name? Interesting. But yeah, design-wise, also, I like her. So, like, from what we see here, I do like it. I like it very much. It's very cute. And hey, who knows? Maybe 4.x will make me like Sparkle a little more. Am I betting on it? No, but I am open to having my mind changed. So who knows? The caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland actually just smokes water vapor, which, to be fair, also not healthy. But I assume it doesn't have, like, the, you know, it doesn't get you high. I would assume. I don't know anything about drugs. I know nothing about any drug, ever. Drugs would have zero effect on someone like her. I would expect someone like her to have a high tolerance. I wouldn't say they don't affect her at all, but she probably has a very high tolerance. And, like, even if she did consume a lot of drugs, it would not, like, dull her senses as much as you would expect, you know, a regular person and stuff. In probably a few weeks, we should get 4.1 drip as well, assuming that's not gonna be delayed as well. There's a chance that everything is delayed a bit now, but so we'll have to see. But yeah. Also, you know what? I think just in case, I'm just gonna go ahead and change the thumbnail for the YouTube stream. Just in case. Just in case. Not saying we're not gonna get into the game at all, but if we only start like 2 hours in, then I'm gonna have to change the thumbnail later on to have make it like a split thumbnail. I'm gonna have to do that then. So for the time being, where is it? Where is it? Where is my just chatting thumbnail? There we go. For now. For now. If not delayed, it will be Tuesday. If delayed, it'll probably be in 3 weeks. Yeah, I assume it might be. I assume it might, because the stream, the patch itself is also delayed, so it might be. It may be. But yeah, that was what I'm gonna be assuming is our only drip marketing for 4.0. Which, to be fair, there is no guarantee on that, because this was on a, like, it's a Thursday. This one did fall on a Thursday and Friday, which is not our usual days, so who knows? Maybe they'll announce someone else. I don't even believe that myself. The double 5-star continues. But yeah, I'm gonna be skipping both of them. As pretty as Yao Guang is, I cannot afford to. I currently have 340, I think, pulls on my main account, and I'm gonna keep saving. I'm gonna keep saving. And I'm gonna spend some more once the banners change next week. So there's that. The copium is listen. The copium is strong. Someone's gotta keep it going. Someone's gotta keep hold of it. Kind of funny that Sparkle's name went from Firework to Spark with a single character change, and in English they're like, well, we can't just call her Sparkle again. Yeah. Like in English, like these subtle name changes are often not very possible, sadly. Oh, excuse me, I have my chalky milk next to me. But anyway, that's number 1. Number 2 is a video that came out a little while ago. 3 days ago. Which we might as well give a watch. An Annihilation Gang, an Everflame Mansion themed video. I'm gonna turn the music off for this one, and I might also have to swap the music so you guys can actually hear what is being said and happening. There we go. I don't know if I'm gonna make this into a video. Maybe, we'll see. But we have false constants. Today's menu for the Grand Duke's family. Always up for some extra Everflame Mansion lore or just shenanigans. Where's Katarina? Where's my girl? Saw for the first time on Bilibili and so happy for it to be released in EN as well. Hell yeah. Let's give it a watch.
When the name Ifrit, Duke Inferno, is mentioned, would you immediately think of a stern and fierce pathstrider of the destruction?
Probably.
However, the world doesn't know that this fire demon is also an excellent...
Oh, chef? Cook? Yep. They male-wifified Duke Inferno!
All for the sake of his children. No matter how busy work gets, Ifrit remembers every child's favorite food and cooks delicious and healthy meals for them. The children will always remember the first time their father cooked. It was a rare snowy night in Vitora, with the garden buried by almost 2 feet of snow. The 4 of us had never seen Father personally cook, so we gathered around him to watch.
See, he may be a bad guy.
My meticulous father
but he's
took
not
off
a bad
the expensive
guy.
suit and cape he rarely parted from, and donned a chef's hat.
Hey, Constance. Are you mistaking Father's banquet for some kind of bargain fast food meal?
Oh?
The old man insisted on wearing high-end tailored clothes. Did you forget? Having to cook...
Correct me if I'm wrong. And listen, maybe this whatever. Was he that white in the teaser? In the first teaser? I do not recall him being that pale in the first Everflame Mansion teaser. That just like stuck out to me. I recall him being a little darker. But maybe not. Maybe it was just the lighting. Maybe it was just the lighting.
Dinner in a tuxedo?
It might have been the lighting.
What a ridiculous sight. All that pride just to suffer for appearance's sake.
I clearly remember. Father snatched that pink apron. The one passed down through 18 generations of that head chef's family.
Get on it!
Culinary skills are inherited through a keepsake, passed down for generations. He's very superstitious.
Shh, quiet. Listen,
ooh, the music.
I saw him.
You can't even see.
Leave the details aside.
He's blind?
At least there's the main course that Father painstakingly made for us. We still remember the aroma of...
Roast Chicken
Spicy
tacos.
corn
Lost
chips.
your thermidor.
Hold on. Let me. Hold on. Roasted mutton, spicy corn chips, chicken tacos, and lobster thermidor. I don't want to move the subtitles. Yeah, Akash being. Can we have a playable Akash? Can we have a playable blind character, please and thank you? I mean, well, we already do, but can we have another one?
Lost your thermidor. You're wrong. Dad never ate mutton.
Do we already know their voice actors, right? Have they been? I'm pretty sure they were announced like on their first trailer, right? In the trailer, Duke did say, "I put fire in your eyes." So he did. I forgot.
Fire demons have a natural advantage. No one in the cosmos is better than Father at roasting.
Like literally or verbally? Playable blind character, you use him and you can't see shit. I mean, to be fair, we have Jiaoqiu and you know, but it is a funny idea. It is a funny idea. I think that, dude, that'd be, I think, like a really fun for like a first person kind of thing, you know, a character that kind of like a Glaya who at least at one point, you know, could not see the way that regular people could, but like had her powers to enhance her vision. I think that's always a cool concept. I wonder if the other Everflame mentioned children will be called by their titles as they become playable. Like having Katarina be called the Shacklebound would be so cool. Oh, it would. Oh, I would love that. Yeah, Jiaoqiu is not. I mean, he's not just technically blind. He is literally blind. He is legally blind as of now. By what I hear, none of the three got their voices changed.
No, wrong. Let's try to remember
I also love how even here we have our
Thank
memory
you, Dubra.
mix-ups, like no one
More
can remember
importantly,
things
that
properly.
day was Father's birthday. The filial children gave gifts to Ifrit. Happy birthday!
Aww, that's cute!
What an unforgettable birthday dinner. My siblings' unreliable minds made that evening even more lively than my memories.
Hey, who are you calling forgetful?
Yeah. Who said your memory's the correct version?
But there's one thing that can't be wrong.
Duke Inferno is already dead.
What?
That's right. Our dear father is already dead.
If Dad's gone,
Dad!
then
Yes. Then you shouldn't be
Oh,
here.
fuck off with this music!
After all, I only had time to salvage a few scattered memories from the cracks between the Twilight
Fuck off!
Rains. This is simply a flawed stage play, recollecting the long-gone Everflame mansion. Shh. Let me guess. Did you conclude in your mind that the emanator of nihility killed them? But when did I say that?
Wait, what?
Nature of nihility killed them? But when did I say that?
Ooh, the shattering.
See? That's what remembrance is. Once your memory discovers a void, it carefully fills it in on its own. Whether you need it or not, whether it's real or not. Well then, how many voids lie within your memories of Penacony?
Interesting. Oh well. Oh, was that one banned? Yes, it was. Okay, that was that. That was cute at first, and then less cute towards the end. Yeah. I miss Katarina. We had one glimpse of her, and I miss her. And I also want to see Akash. Man. Another confirmation that the children at least are alive. Yeah. But they're probably gonna spread them out. If we have Dahlia now, I feel like they might become either. I don't know if they're gonna have major roles at some point later in the story, or if they're gonna be like, what's it called? If they're gonna be like, not filler characters, because there is no filler in this game, but you know what I mean, like in between main arcs kind of releases. Dubra's Remembrance. Oh yeah, is she? Oh yeah. I keep forgetting who was. Oh yeah, wait. Wasn't someone also against the preservation? I forgot who was like set up to destroy which path. Wasn't someone against the preservation as well? And someone against the LA. Actually, no, that might have been a Lord Ravager. I forgot. Actually, wait, no, that was Asad Pramat who was against the elation. Yeah, dude, I want Katarina to be playable, but I also want them to wait because I need to save. So, there's that. I do find it funny how many people were confused by Constance being called the Dahlia when it was a title and we were given back in 2024. Oh, really? I mean, I wasn't too bothered by it, but I also forgot. Let me... Oh, we don't have... Okay, no voice actors here. Sag. Oh yeah, right. That's all. That's another thing why I was interested, because Katarina was against the preservation. Right. So what I'm hearing is Katarina and Belobog. Right. Thing about the Everflame Mansion is kids is that they are effectively Lord Ravager's, like, kind of. Yeah. Not Lord Ravagers, but Lord Ravager wannabes. Akash versus Harmony. Do you remember Isolation? Right. Oh yeah, dude, that one person who saved up for Katarina, dude, I wish them all the best. True. Yeah. Dubra might be in 4. Honestly, yeah. If they do it like that, like whenever we get like a new, path, not quite introduced, but a path takes the spotlight, in which case, if we go back to Belobog at some point, or if we actually wait, the preservation might also be IPC. But I want to believe that the preservation is going to be Belobog, that we're going to go back to Belobog in some way, shape, or form. Make Belobog relevant again. Give us Katarina in Belobog. She's excited about it since she's already pulled E6S5 Dahlia. Ooh, congrats to her. Probably be the IPC against... Yeah, it'll probably be an IPC arc because we have not dabbled enough with those folks yet. The IPC, or I guess the Stonehearts more so, because the IPC and Stonehearts do seem to be not quite on the same page. The IPC seems more propagation, while the Stonehearts specifically seem to be following the preservation more so. Belobog is like purely the preservation, like all 4 clip off. 5-star Nat, oh, that would be amazing. Give us a Japard SB. Alliance with Katarina versus the IPC, that'd be wild. If they did a full-on Raven version of Natasha, I would spend hard. Honestly, can't say I wouldn't. Can't say I wouldn't be interested. Yeah, that's the problem. That Belobog right now is kind of stuck a little bit because they only have... Eurelo 6, to our knowledge, only has Belobog. So that's kind of an issue. And the Eternal Freeze is not going to go away for a while. But yeah, good video. Next up, we are going to step away from HSR for a bit. Because I stumbled upon a different video a couple of days ago that I thought was very interesting to watch, for me in particular. The Interstellar part was already solved. I mean, yeah, Belobog is now, like, connected to the cosmos. I have not seen that, Rose. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Yeah, I feel like they can do more with Zayla as well. Just like some characters they can definitely do more with. Anyway, on to not the Great Ace Attorney, but Ace Attorney related nonetheless. Hold it! Yeah, hold it. Welcome to a video called The Most Underrated Prosecutor in Ace Attorney, aka what is probably going to be 21 plus minutes of me being an insufferable yes woman and agreeing with everything this person has to say about the best prosecutor in the entire franchise. Totally objective, totally not biased. If you disagree, you're wrong. Just kidding, obviously. In my opinion, the best one. The one with the most the one with the most wasted potential as well. Clavier Gavin, obviously, in case that wasn't clear. So let's just get into it. I've not watched this like at all. Also, creator, Cole the Fact Guy. I mean, hey, if this is just 21 minutes about talking about Clavier and how great he is, then he is indeed the Fact Guy. Fact Guy. That pronunciation. Battlebox still only having one limited 5-star is pretty funny. True. Katarina as an Astral Express member. That is some heavy copium. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it's Payne. You're right, actually. I stand corrected. The best prosecutor in the entire game, Winston Payne. Gasp and Payne. And the marketing shorts of the two relation characters, they're ominous laughs. Possibly, Anyway. Major spoilers for the Ace Attorney series, especially Apollo Justice. You have been warned.
When the question of who's the...
So, I don't know why I was suddenly jump scared by speaking. Apologies. I'm also gonna turn the subtitles on. Nora, thank you for following. I appreciate it. How you doing? Beating myself up because I'm somehow not following you on this account? Well, now you are. Okay.
Best Ace Attorney prosecutor comes up.
Volume might be a little quiet.
Miles Edgeworth, the guy from the first one, the guy who has the spin-off games, the guy from the last cases of 2 and 3, Phoenix's boyfriend, or even Miles Edgeworth. Yeah, basically you'll never hear a different opinion, because honestly, Edgeworth is the best one. He's one of the most full-fledged, well-rounded characters in the series. He has a great...
Which, you know, comes with the advantage of having the most screen time of any prosecutor.
Character arc, and has one of the best dynamics with Phoenix. However, when asking who people's favorite prosecutor is, or even who they think is second best, that's where things get interesting. It could be Franziska von Karma with her subtle development over time and funny moments. It could be Simon Blackwell and his balance of genuinely hilarious intimidation and
this one I've heard
tragedy.
a few times.
It definitely won't be
well.
Nayuta. I haven't even gotten to Spirit of Justice yet, and I already know how the...
Yeah, dude, like, I like Nayuta, but you're not gonna see people name him as their favorite. Unfortunately. But he just hasn't gotten enough time to shine. It's been one game, and his development only came towards the end. So, unfortunate. Played 5 hours of Pico Park yesterday, and then like an hour and a half of Yap Yap. Goddamn.
Community feels about this asshole. For a while, I would have said Godot with his balance of great comedic beats, hilarious antagonism, genuinely great motivation.
To be fair, Godot was also an asshole. He was just funnier about it. Nayuta didn't have the funny buff, because they're both assholes.
Amazing jawline, rugged body, bad boy attitude, massive 3-inch He's the one I used to always go to when speaking on non-Edgeworth prosecutors. However, over the last few years, not only have I had more time with the series and more time to mull over my opinions, I've also continued my campaign as the world's biggest Apollo Justice apologist. While it's not
my man! My man!
Not my favorite game in the series, the longer
it is mine.
Time goes on, the more I appreciate what it brings to the table, especially in terms of its major characters. I've already talked about Phoenix. I can't talk about Apollo just yet, as I'm still one game short on him, but one character who I always felt got a bad hand was this game's prosecutor, Clavier Gavin. What's funny is, from the 3 minutes of research I've done, Clavier's reception in the fandom was never really negative. Sure, he'll always...
Honestly, yeah. Like, Clavier was always just kind of there, I feel like. Like, I didn't see any people dislike him. It's just like, you either like him or you're like, yeah, he's fine, he's nothing special, which I vehemently disagree with. And if you've watched any of my past Ace Attorney streams, any of my past Apollo Justice streams where he's appeared, or where I've talked about him, you know how I feel about this man, and you know the potential that was wasted with his character, in my humble opinion.
Get looked down upon for not being Edgeworth, but as a prosecutor and one that had to be Apollo's rival, I think he's pitch perfect, and I'm not apologizing for that pun. That shit was gold. When I say dealt a bad hand, I mean by the series itself.
Yes.
Most people will say Apollo Justice got massively run over by the 2 sequels that followed it. Concepts abandoned, characters forgotten, all just to focus on Phoenix again. I've stated before that I disagree with that. Things like Phoenix, Apollo, Trucy, the broken state the law is in, all of that is taken into consideration and developed on. However, certain things certainly were dropped.
Yep.
Primarily things like the juris system, but more than anything, in my opinion, they abandoned Clavier.
You could make an entire spin-off off of his character. If you could give Miles 2, you can give him at least 1.
Clavier gets a short cameo in Dual Destinies and is barely referenced in Spirit of Justice. He's a casualty of this game's mixed reception, and an undeserved one if you ask me. Clavier is one of the best prosecutors the series has, and one of the most unique. He's
yes! Thank you! Despite people... Okay, yes! My god! See, that's what I'm saying. I've seen people consider Clavier to be like nothing special or no big deal because he's just kind of normal. You know, like, he's not overly hostile. He's not, you know, like, super aggressive in his approach or you know, hates the protagonist like most other prosecutors do. But that in itself makes him unique because he's just a guy. A very traumatized guy, but he's just a guy who actually, from the get-go, he didn't need any dramatic character development to cooperate and to get his priorities straight. Whoops. Excuse me. There we go.
Characterized from the get-go and makes quite literally every case he's in better. Ace Attorney 4's weakest cases are still better than ones like Big Top just because of how well Clavier works off of Apollo. However, he's also a character that I think could have been the best prosecutor in the series if there wasn't so much missed potential with his character. Despite how great he tends to be, he's
I feel so vindicated.
Suffers a lot from both who Apollo Justice decides to focus on, especially in its last case, along with the writer's general mindset when Dual Destinies came out. Unlike Phoenix or Apollo, I don't think the sequels did him justice. And it's obvious that, like a lot of things from Ace Attorney 4, Clavier kinda got buried. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to be analyzing Clavier's character, sort of case by case, showing how he works in each one, how each one shows him off, and also the flaws within them. Hopefully by the end of this, you'll have an understanding of why I love Clavier and why I think he deserved a lot better, while still being great for what he is. And he's not in Turnabout Trump, for obvious reasons, so we're gonna start with Turnabout Corner. Clavier in Turnabout Corner is one of the best parts about it because it simultaneously establishes him excellently, but also subverts our expectations of what a new prosecutor will be. Prosecutors in Ace Attorney, especially up to this point, are very antagonistic. They interrupt, they're rude, they constantly make shit up, mock you. Hell, Francisca and occasionally Godot will physically attack you. The only exception is Edgeworth after Turnabout Samurai.
Exactly, after his development. And I wouldn't even say after Turnabout Samurai. Like, after Turnabout Samurai is where, you know, his development really kicked in. But even then, it took him... But even then, he's had development in the later games as well. He's had more time to shine. Like, Turnabout Samurai was where it really, like, everything was, like, kicked in motion. But even then, you still had moments where he was definitely being not, like, hostile towards Phoenix, but you could tell that there was still a little, like, there were still traces of what he used to be.
He stopped being obsessed with winning and instead just wants the verdict to reflect the truth. The build-up to facing Clavier
Just in his
court
approach,
reflects the status quo. He looks a ton like his brother. It's obvious he's here for revenge. His skills are respected by others. But then you get into court and he's actually really chilled out. He teases Apollo and clearly has something against him, but it doesn't seem like it's totally surrounding Kristoff. And in fact, a lot of his ribbing doesn't even seem to be mean. See, Phoenix in court was a little wacky. He had a lot of comedic moments. He played fast and loose. However, Apollo is a tightly wound bundle of panic who takes everything extremely seriously. So if you were to have an overly serious rival, it wouldn't work as well. That's why instead of the antagonistic hard ass, we get Clavier, a laid back.
True, it is kind of flipped. I never really, like, thought too much about that, but yeah. I knew that was the dynamic, but I never really put that against the previous combinations we've had, where, yeah, we had, like, Phoenix was kind of like the butt of every joke, which, to be fair, Apollo is as well, to an extent. But the prosecutor side was the more serious one.
Supportive man who ribs Apollo basically just to get him to take the stick out of his ass. He's got a great rapport with the judge. His random stopping of the trial into guitar solos and explaining how fucking dumb the last statement was is always great. He's a type of character we rarely see in the prosecutor's seat, but he's very much needed. Clavier is 100% focused on just finding the truth. He'll bring witnesses and do what he can to prove the accused guilty, but only because that's his job. If the defendant isn't guilty, it's Apollo's job to prove that, not his.
And he like, even then, he does his job, but he also realizes, or when he realizes that he's fighting a losing case, he doesn't switch, but he always gives Apollo, like, little pointers. When he's 2 steps ahead and he realized that Apollo isn't fully caught up yet, he gives little hints and
that's one of the best parts of their dynamic. Normally, when it gets newbies, lawyers in these games will absolutely try to destroy them. Even Phoenix isn't above it. However, Clavier, once he realizes that Apollo is genuinely playing by the rules and isn't what he thought he might be, Clavier begins to help him. He begins backing him up, slightly guiding him towards the truth. He argues with him still, but that's mainly because he knows there has to be perfect evidence. This is where it shows that Clavier's passion isn't tearing the opposition down. His passion is the law and upholding it. And we see a hint of his frustration at the current system. He knows there can't be any doubt, so his later arguments are done in order to find the actual guilty party. This is shown blatantly once Apollo gets Alita to break, as Clavier acknowledges he's been waiting for her to show her true colors. Overall, this is one of the best introductions to Clavier you could ask for. It's not a perfect case by any means, but for Clavier and Apollo, it does wonders for their characters. And speaking of bad cases carried by Clavier and Apollo, Turnabout Serenade is a mess from the literal start.
Listen. I've said it before, I actually do quite like Turnabout Serenade, but a lot of that is carried by Clavier and what we learn about his character in that case, and Apollo. So, yeah.
Man is killed by gun that specifically is so powerful it would destroy a normal person's shoulder with one shot. So obviously this tiny child shot the gun 6 times, then carried this man's body up to the stage. This is dumb, and the game even acknowledges how dumb it is. And by the game, I mean Clavier. I think people get really distracted by the dumb shit in this case and don't actually see the work it's doing for Clavier as a character. A lot of case 4 is built around the justice system being broken and the juris system needing to at least have a chance to take its place. And throughout the case, we see why, and it's mostly through Clavier. The reason this kid is singled out is so his home country can write the trial off quickly. Neither government wants to touch the case, so they just say, grab the first guy you see, not realizing this is an Ace Attorney game where it's literally never the first guy you see. It's the second guy you see. I love this.
I mean, to be fair, sometimes it's the third guy you see. But usually it's the second guy you see.
This dichotomy. Despite Clavier obviously not liking Phoenix, and Phoenix not caring for him either, they both have the same mindset towards law. The current system is broken, corrupt people are using it to gain wealth and notoriety, and without literal perfect evidence, the defense can't get people off. But you know, like in a sexual way.
Sorry, what did you say?
Perfect evidence, the defense can't get people off. But, like in a sexual way. Clavier does not deny that Darien is likely guilty, that the literal 4-year-old, who would probably have a stroke at the taste of room temperature water, is innocent. But he can't overpower the system. He has to push Apollo to get Darien to confess. And it makes total sense Clavier would want to be involved in the Juris system test. While, yeah, it's a case that involves him, he doesn't initially know that, and instead is there for the benefit of the law, something he deeply cares about. Not to mention, in this case, outside the court, he's also really entertaining. He has no ill will left for Apollo and invites him and Trucy to a sold-out concert, basically treating them as friends at this point. He's a complete diva backstage, getting mad at Darien for ruining the entire concert with his awful playing.
Yes, and this is where we also learn even more so that Clavier is like a perfectionist to an unhealthy degree. Like, to a very unhealthy degree. Not just when it comes to like his music, where like if it's not perfect, it sucks, it's ass, but also even transferring that to like just his life. If his music isn't perfect, like if they can't even play a song perfectly, how can they expect to catch criminals? Like the hoops and the way that his perfectionism affects every aspect of his life is so fascinating. Probably brought about by Kristoff.
In fact, he's so mad he turns orange. Look. I love his little temper tantrum. I love how mad he gets at the fact that his guitar lit on fire. It shows that Clavier does not always have a cool head, and he is prone to getting angry when something that he likes goes completely wrong in ways he never planned.
Exactly, and that's also what people like... I wouldn't say don't see, because it is very apparent in case 3, but it's not really fully kept in mind that this entire, like, cool guy, laid-back, easygoing persona that Clavier puts on is all a facade. It's one giant mask. And you can see that whenever he does get pissed off and he sees Trucy in part, like Apollo and Trucy, although I figure Trucy in particular because she's his fan, he sees them approach and he immediately tries to flip the switch and whatever grievances he might have had before, he tries to play it off. I forgot how beautiful X34 was. I love how the outlines are just a darker version of the base colors, which makes it look a lot more natural than whatever the Phoenix Wright trilogy is. Honestly, yeah. Like, Apollo Justice is a very beautiful game. You're right. It is a very pretty game. He's a lot more orange in the CG cutscene. Yeah, dude.
Then, after the first day in court, instead of going at Apollo in his office, they share evidence. He's not completely against Apollo going after Darien, because at this point, he likes Apollo. And Apollo already correctly put another person he cared about behind bars. Not only that, but he makes it pretty clear he trusts Lamiwar. So her making that accusation doesn't immediately turn Clavier against her, and he's willing to hear her out. And in the end, he barely defends his former bandmate when he confesses. Basically tells him that they had fun, but he can fuck off. What I want to reiterate real quick is just how much this case solidifies not just Clavier's outlook, but also the fact that he and Apollo are beginning to consider each other friends. This isn't outrageous. After all, Phoenix and Edgeworth are friends, but that was after Phoenix saved him from murder charges and Edgeworth helped save Maya's life. Here, it's just because both respect each other and get along. Clavier needs someone in his life who's more strict and disciplined, and Apollo needs someone more upbeat and relaxed. Hell, that's why I think Apollo works better with the peppy anime girls than Phoenix ever did. But
honestly, I don't know how I can speak on that because I'm just very biased towards Apollo and Trucy in general. Trucy is by far my favorite assistant, and Apollo is my favorite protagonist as of now. So I don't think I could give a well thought out opinion on that other than I love them both.
That's for another time. I'll touch on this a little later.
What did I come back to? Clavier Gavin, baby!
But we get a little bit more out of their work friendship in Dual Destinies, and it's one of my favorite moments in that game. You get the feeling that Apollo and Clavier hang out occasionally, maybe get drinks.
Yes! Yep.
Kiss. They kiss a lot. Now,
they do. They told me. I saw them. But yes, I love that he highlights that. And that also shows that I wasn't crazy, which is that in Dual Destinies, even though Clavier was only there for one case, just that little interaction we have right there the familiarity with which these two talk to each other there definitely is like shows that they haven't just stopped talking since that one case in. They haven't just taught that. They haven't just like gone no contact or stuck to court face-offs only since the last case in Ace Attorney 4. That they've actually been hanging out in private and been staying in contact. Wanted to watch this earlier? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That Apollo and Clavier hang out occasionally, maybe get drinks. And kiss. They kiss a lot. Now, before we really get into Clavier during most of Turnabout Succession...
Did you know that there is a version, a rendition of Guilty Love, Clavier's song, which, number one, has lyrics that directly mention Apollo, and talk about Clavier ditching his date to go face off against Apollo in court, and also that, if I recall, that... I don't recall if it's that song in particular, but or that version in particular, but there's also a section that incorporates Apollo's theme into the song. And also that in one of the drama CDs, the two actually sing Guilty Love together.
I want to look at where he gets the most focus, which is the flashback scene. Clavier is the one who caught Phoenix on the forgery charge. We see that he expected the forged evidence Phoenix used and punished him for it, all because Kristoff warned him in advance. During this short bit, Clavier is a bit different from his modern self. He's a lot meaner, pushes a lot more buttons,
cocky,
and is a bit more aggressive and arrogant. This seems out of character, but for one, this is one of his first cases. Of course he's a bit cocky, he just became a prosecutor.
Yeah.
But in all truth, it's this moment that makes Clavier's motivations come together. Clavier knew Phoenix had the forged evidence. Kristoff told him about it. And Clavier wasn't just using this as an advantage to win the case, it was to out someone who he thought was a liar. It makes sense why he's so dead set on appearing in court opposite Apollo. It's not just that he got his brother in jail. After all, Clavier knows he was guilty of murder. No, it's because Apollo works under Phoenix. Clavier...
Dude, Clavier's and Phoenix's relationship as well is something they could go into a lot more. That's a framed apology. I'm sorry, honey. But yeah, dude, God, I could go on an entire rampage again. I've talked about all of this before, but I can talk about it again. Where's my spinoff? And yes, I am a fellow Clopalo truther. I fucking love Clopalo.
Hates Phoenix. He has a chip on his shoulder against him because he sees him as everything wrong with defense attorneys. But of course, he's wrong. Phoenix made a mistake. It's Kristoff who's the actual corrupt attorney. Well, funny thing, after that day, it's made clear Clavier didn't trust his brother anymore either. After all, how did he know that Phoenix had false evidence when Kristoff was the one meant to cover that case until like an hour ago? We don't get a lot in terms of Clavier's obvious distrust for Kristoff, but the second that this original case gets brought up, Clavier immediately gets bothered.
Yeah, and Clavier and Kristoff is always an interesting relationship because on the one hand, yes, Clavier from that day already distrusted Kristoff. Like, he knew that something was going on. But you can, like, the and it wasn't highlighted, well, it was kind of showcased, but I feel like it could have been highlighted more, is the conflict between Clavier knowing that Kristoff fucked up and that Kristoff is not a good person, and that Kristoff, you know, is a murderer, a criminal, etc. And Kristoff still being his older brother, still being family. And Clavier still having inherited certain traits from Kristoff. Like I said earlier, the perfectionism. Fuck, the hair. Literally the hair. They have the same or similar, very similar hair. So a lot of aspects in which Clavier still did look up to Kristoff or still want to trust him, want to believe in him, but also, you know, the facts don't lie. I fucking know you are. Apollo and Clavier are.
Case bugged him, and it's not just because of Phoenix. It's because he knows Kristoff is in on it, and he also knows that the entire Defense Department loves Kristoff, so why would he trust any of them? Now, a thought arises. Why would he even do that? It's prosecutors in the Ace Attorney world that fake evidence, that are corrupt and want criminals to go free while innocent people take the fall. Why would anyone think otherwise? I mean, for one, he is a prosecutor. Obviously, he probably doesn't agree with that statement. But for two, I want to pause for a moment and jump to Ace Attorney Investigations.
Oh.
I've been playing through these games recently for a future video on Gumshoe, and while so far I am not the biggest fan of them, I do think they bring a lot of value in the way they look into the mindsets of Edgeworth, Francisca, and the other prosecutors. See, similar to how not being in his shoes changes how we see Phoenix, playing as a prosecutor gives you an outlook into why they are the way they are. In the main series, defense attorneys see themselves as defenders of the innocent. It's why when he defends someone guilty, Phoenix breaks down. And prosecutors are crazy people who want innocents in jail and murderers on the streets. But what Investigations establishes is that prosecutors think that the defense attorneys are the scummy ones. Sure, there's gonna be bad apple prosecutors, but the real ones are trying to put dangerous people behind bars. And all a defense attorney does is lie and cheat to keep those criminals free. Obviously, there's a gray area, with Phoenix and Edgeworth learning that both their outlooks were wrong and working together, but people like Francisca still believe that what Phoenix is doing is baseline wrong, because prosecutors' goals are to get guilty verdicts. So if they're not condemning the guilty, well, what are they even doing? Now, imagine this from Clavier's perspective. He's not entirely out for guilty verdicts, he wants to figure out the truth, and just so happens to be on the side of the ones getting guilty verdicts. But if a client is innocent, great, he'll help put the actual perpetrator in jail, but to him, in his first case, he sees a defense attorney hiding the truth, lying just for an outcome.
Yeah, I never really considered
like Von Karma did.
I never really considered that, because my memory of Ace Attorney Investigations, like those aspects, is also a little. I remember the characters, but those aspects in particular, it's all a little hazy, which is why I'm kind of going back through it again now, watching another playthrough. But honestly, yeah. Good point.
Distrust and dislike of attorneys was immediately validated and reinforced by his brother. So no wonder he didn't like Apollo at first. Not only was he a defense attorney, he was apprenticing under Phoenix Wright, who, yes, was innocent of his crime, but to Clavier was the picture definition of why he doesn't like defense attorneys. Yet after his time with Apollo, it's clear he wants to use the juris system to change the current one, where instead of having to use insanely specific evidence, a court of people can decide the verdict. And despite their rivalry, he and Apollo will do it together. But here's where some issues arise. Clavier has the potential to be one of, if not the best prosecutor in the series. The issue is the developers refuse to let him live up to that potential. I like his support for Apollo and aid in his development, but he and Apollo both have an issue in Case 4, where the Gramarys, Phoenix, and Kristoff end up being the main focuses, while the rest get a bit sidelined.
And to be fair, I don't mind. Listen, I love Case 4. I love it. And even like the Phoenix and Kristoff and Grammarly sections, I do like those a lot. We should have gotten one more case. We should have gotten one more. Hell, we should have gotten an entire game. We should have gotten several more cases between Apollo and Clavier, dealing with, the aftermath of all of this. Because I don't mind letting Phoenix and Kristoff and the Grammarys take a bit of spotlight here. And I do still think that it was kind of like the Case 4. It was still kind of combined that both Apollo and Clavier did still get their fair amount of screen time and spotlight, but it was just not enough. Like ending it there was not enough.
Now, for Apollo, I don't hate it. Apollo has struggled to trust others, especially Phoenix, throughout the game, but Phoenix needs him to play his part.
For Apollo, it was also because Apollo really was. I think for Apollo, it was also fitting because Apollo was just thrown into all of this. He was being used as a pawn the entire time by Phoenix. So the idea that like he hasn't really gotten much time to shine, it fits. It fits, and I think the later games actually do a decent job. Not perfect, but do a pretty good job at fleshing out his character more. And I think Ace for Apollo's character, Ace Attorney 4 feels like a big setup. it feels like a big setup where you have this guy that really just like wants to be a lawyer, has his mentor that he studies under that turns out to be a murderer, and then he's jobless for a while, and then he starts working for Phoenix, who then doesn't even like mentor him at all, who is Frank, as much as I love Phoenix, who is a shitty boss, who is not a very good parent, who just drops his daughter off with Apollo while he goes and does cryptic shit, basically for the entire game, until at the very end when he needs Apollo again, and it all comes together, and Apollo's just sitting there like, okay, what happened? This is what we're doing now. Okay, I get it now, but also, what the fuck? So the setup was good. The setup was good. It's just yeah, I don't really mind Apollo's character and how they handled his character, especially also his relationship with Phoenix, because that I think was actually expanded on more subtly until Spirit of Justice, but was expanded on pretty well in the later games as well. But Clavier completely tossed aside. My god. And their relationship and dynamic and stuff. My goodness. Oh.
And Phoenix trusts him. And Apollo not only succeeds, but manages to give hope to his client and start to fix the current system. Clavier, however, just kind of gets forgotten about. He's around for the first half, doing his usual thing, teasing Apollo, being a prosecutor, but that all begins to break down once he sees that his case is deeply connected to his first case against Phoenix. One that we learn has bothered him for a very long time. He doesn't know why exactly Phoenix may have forged evidence and doesn't know how Kristoff knew about it, and ended up burying those worries pretty deep and is visibly shaken when it all comes back up. Then, when Kristoff is brought to the stand to defend himself, Clavier is not okay. He stutters.
Absolutely
he can't come
not.
to terms with what's going on and can only grasp at straws to do his job. This is the first time we see him unstable in court. We've seen him acting like a diva outside of court, but in court, even when he's losing, he keeps a cool head and isn't afraid to join Apollo in finding out the truth. Remember, in Turnabout Serenade, his best friend was getting sent to jail, but he unflinchingly condemned him. But here...
Which, to be fair, I don't think, like, I think he was affected by that as well. But again, Clavier is an actor. This man can mask to hell and back. This man is incredible at masking, if he needs to. And I do think that's what happened with Darien, where he was just in work mode and he didn't allow himself to like linger too much on like any sort of feelings towards the whole situation. Until after everything was said and done, where, you know, we didn't get to see that. And with Kristoff, it was the first time where we actually saw him really crack. Like, he couldn't keep anything, like, he couldn't keep it up anymore until the end, which I assume he's gonna get into in a bit, so I'm gonna get back on that.
And it hints to a deeper aspect of his character. He's terrified of Kristoff. When he tries to bring up counterpoints to help Apollo, Kristoff barely needs to lift his head and Clavier shuts up. It's the only time where you feel that old type of prosecution the previous games had. The type where even if the defendant was obviously innocent, the prosecution would refuse to buckle and make shit up. It's insanely fascinating, and it's honestly kind of troubling. However, this is where the problem is. We only really get this moment. We have moments where it's implied that Clavier and Kristoff's relationship was not perfectly brotherly, that Kristoff has some kind of power over Clavier, and it could be through abuse, fear, we don't know. But Clavier's moments here are all almost immediately overshadowed by Apollo, Phoenix, and Kristoff going through the case without Clavier. Like, yeah, he's shaken and doesn't know what to do, but the game doesn't really care. The game is focused on developing and taking down Kristoff, not on Clavier being upset. Does this make the moment where Clavier nuts up and helps Apollo take Kristoff down mean less? No, not really, but it does feel like this moment doesn't have as much weight.
I understand that. I do understand that. I think in that moment, it did feel a little off to me as well, because I was like, okay, like he jumped back pretty quick in that scene. Again, I would attribute that to him regaining just enough composure to flip that switch once more, and I would have loved to see more of the aftermath. I would have loved to just get a little glimpse into how Clavier was feeling after the trial, where there's no more, like, he's out of the public eye, and just like give us a conversation between him and Apollo about everything that's happened, you know, where we see those cracks show again in Clavier's, you know, behavior, and where he actually not like doesn't have to like fully open up, but just share a little bit of himself. Just share a little bit of like how all of this has shaken him up. Like, they didn't have to do it that much. And that's why I say also, like, the entire year between games 4 and 5 that we didn't see Clavier can be turned into a whole spin-off to give him that development, to give us that insight into his character. They could absolutely do that. The potential is there. The material is there. The unused potential is there. Give us the Clavier Gavin fucking spin-off!
Would have loved more of this to be hinted at in previous cases. It makes sense why Clavier would specifically want to come back to prosecution after what happened in Turnabout Trump, but that's never really even hinted at until case 4. That's when we get why he might have a chip on his shoulder against Phoenix and his colleagues. That's when we learn how he feels about Kristoff, but there's so much else happening that this plotline doesn't really get a chance to
be fair, I mean, again, that's also just me, like, hyper-analyzing these lines, where I was talking about Clavier's perfectionism, that I immediately linked back to Kristoff, where I already had that, you know, like, I already speculated about Clavier's and Kristoff's relationship, like, on a grander scale in case 3. Due to that, but I do kind of get where he's coming from.
The scene where Clavier explains to Kristoff how the previous system that he abused was flawed and that now the jury gets to decide what happens is great. It shows Clavier sticking to his principles over his loyalty or fear towards Kristoff, and is a character-defining scene, but it just didn't have enough time dedicated to it to rival similar moments that other prosecutors got. Not to mention that after this, Clavier gets next to no screen time. Despite having a great dynamic with Apollo, he gets left behind while Apollo gets to keep going. As I've said before, this sucks. Imagine if Clavier was to Apollo what Edgeworth was to Phoenix. He doesn't have to be the main prosecutor of every game, but he could be there at least at the most important moments as a rival and a confidant to keep Apollo on the right track. Again, I haven't played Spirit of Justice yet, but I think Dual Destiny shows enough how Apollo works much better with someone like Clavier over someone like Blackquill.
Absolutely. Yeah. And listen, hey, that's my... On the one hand, yes, that is my shipper brain speaking, but also it's... Clavier and Apollo just have something like their relationship, number 1, is already established. And number 2, it's the fact that they know each other better. And they also have more in common. I mean, hell, they can fucking trauma bond over Kristoff. And Phoenix. And, you know, the several cases that they've had together. Is that they share a deeper understanding than Apollo would ever with Simon, or, well, Nayuta is another case. Nayuta is one thing, but even then, it's different. Nayuta and Apollo are family. Clavier and Apollo are making out.
I like Blackquill a lot, but his dynamic with Apollo is much weaker than his dynamic with Phoenix or Athena. Blackquill is strict, short-tempered, and is a man of few words.
It's
similar
kind of,
to Edgeworth, he's a major straight man to the wacky bullshit happening around him.
Yeah, it's
this
kind of
is
the
amazing
old...
with Phoenix and Athena, because Athena is hyperactive and passionate, and Phoenix is just a weird, awkward fella no matter the situation. Apollo, however, is already straight-laced. He's already a straight man, so if you put him and Blackquill together, it just doesn't work as well. Why do you
And I was gonna say, it does kind of fall back into, you know, the usual, where you have the prosecutor being the serious and straight-laced, but in a very ridiculous and you know, hostile way, and the fumbling defense attorney.
I think the worst case in this game is an Apollo case. I mean, well, for 1, it's not a great case, but for 2, it's not that entertaining to see these two go at it.
Okay, to be fair, if he's referring to 5-2, actually, never mind. I'm thinking of 6-2. 5-2 was, it was fun. I recall it being fun. I think it was fun. That was the first case with Athena, right? I do think that was a fun case.
The one time Clavier shows up, it's a highlight. He and Apollo have a legitimate friendship and deep trust, and they kiss. But despite still ribbing each other, you can see how well they work together. But fuck that, he's from the game nobody likes, so he's buried now. Go away, Clavier. Quick addendum while editing. I wanted to mention that despite my issues with the way the final case uses him, Clavier is really great during it. A big chunk of that last trial day is Apollo and Clavier going back and forth building up the case against Kristoff, and it is really well done. It's one of the best parts of that case, and despite mentioning it, I feel like I might have overlooked it a bit to focus on the negatives. Clavier and Apollo really cement themselves as a great duo here, teaming up to uncover the truth. And that not only gets a lot of focus, it really also doesn't get overshadowed. It's just Clavier's turmoil was a bit brushed aside. You know, the part that really focuses entirely on him.
I think the masking is a part of that, but it did feel very sudden.
So he's used well, but not as well as I kind of wish he was. Just wanted to mention that. Clavier is a great prosecutor, but the reason he's not the best is because he never got to fulfill his potential. He got sidelined in his first time to shine, and then because of the reception of that game, he was forgotten. What's even sadder to me is that he never even really got his own case. What I mean is he never got a case that truly explored his character.
Yes! 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 Thank you! Thank you!
And developed him. Edgeworth had, I mean, take your pick out of like any of the...
Yeah, exactly! If Clavier can get at least one of those.
Francisca doesn't have a case focusing entirely on her, but has multiple cases that show her subtle development into a more well-rounded character.
Yeah, she has recurring
Goodell
appearances.
Has Bridge to the Turnabout, Blackwell has Turnabout for Tomorrow. Hell, I even know characters like Winter get development, and I haven't even...
Oh yeah, Sebastian. And I'll keep calling him Sebastian. Absolutely.
Finished investigations too. Clavier should have gotten more, at least in Turnabout Succession, but that case had so much on its plate already, and it seems like Clavier's focus wasn't really able to be a part of it as much as it should have. And I think that's a detriment to the Apollo trilogy as a whole, because no other prosecutor has as good of a dynamic with Apollo as Clavier did. And that's the thing. Despite all of that complaining, despite my honest disappointment, I don't want it to be misconstrued that these problems overshadow the quality that Clavier brings to the table. Apollo, as a new protagonist, had massive shoes to fill, and to define his character as separate from Phoenix, he needed a prosecutor that would bring out the best character writing possible, and Clavier was the perfect way of doing that. Apollo is immediately set apart from Phoenix because he's wound much tighter. He's a bundle of anxiety held together by a single string. He takes his job and duty incredibly seriously, so who better to counter him than an incredibly confident, relaxed prosecutor whose main focus is the truth. Clavier inspires growth in Apollo, and in the end, Apollo pushes Clavier to be better, which is exactly how these main rivalries should work in Ace Attorney. Hell, if I'm being honest, I'm not personally a big fan of the first half of Case 2, or most of Case 3 of Apollo Justice. However, I still enjoy them because of how well Apollo and Clavier play off of each other.
Yeah, and like, as you know, I'm a very character-centered person. If Clavier and Apollo hadn't been there, if both of those cases had been like Phoenix and Edgeworth, for example, I don't think I would have enjoyed them as much. I definitely wouldn't have. I definitely don't think I would have. If it had been Athena and Simon, I don't think I would have. And that it's also me being, very biased, obviously, but... And you're right, Star, that Case 3, that Turnabout Serenade, definitely... It was getting there. It was like a partial case for Clavier. But, not fully. Like, Again, the potential was there, and to me personally, it did give me a better insight into his character. For sure. But that's because I analyze the small little... When I care about a character a lot, I analyze the small details. I have dozens upon dozens of screenshots of single Clavier one-liners that stick out to me in their phrasing or the potential for characterization there. But not everyone's gonna do that. And if you're just playing through the cases, then you get to see that he's a drama queen. and he's a perfectionist, maybe, sure. And that's kind of where it stops a little bit.
Clavier isn't just another prosecutor in the mountain of them this series has. He's honestly a lot different. He's not focused only on victory. He's not focused on crushing the opposition, and he doesn't have a dark past he's trying to fight against. His motivation is his passion for the law and for truth. And while that could have been boring, it makes him an incredibly entertaining character.
Although I will say that, while yes, it is true he doesn't have a dark past to fight against, he does have a lot of issues to fight against. Like, this man is not okay. As much as he pretends to be, he is not okay. That his relationship with Clavier, with Kristoff, number one, that didn't come out of nowhere, and number two, that's gonna leave its marks. And his falling out with this man has lost so many people. This man has lost. We don't know anything about his parents. This man has lost his brother, his best friend, a teacher that he considered very dear and taught him many life lessons in the span of like a year. This man is not okay.
Up against Apollo. It's sad to me Apollo doesn't really get another rival that does the same, as it's clear from his dynamic with Athena that the writers know how to contrast his rigidness. But for the short time he was around, he was a highlight. I guess it makes sense that if Apollo is my favorite attorney, his rival would be my favorite prosecutor. You know, besides
honestly,
Edgeworth, because how could he not be number one? But similar to Apollo, similar to Phoenix and Ace Attorney 4, and similar to literally everything in the game he spawned from, I think Clavier deserved a lot more attention and a lot more appreciation. So hopefully I've done him at least a little justice. Get it? It's like the name, because the name of the game is it's Apollo Justice. You know what? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll never come back now. I'm sorry.
Or I'll make an impulse purchase. Whatever it is, do it. Whatever it is, do it. But I might still subscribe. What other videos does he have? I think I saw like other like character focused videos, because so now I'm curious. Now I'm curious. Oh, interesting. He does. Okay, interesting. He doesn't like. So he does a lot of like character analyses, but like from like all over Sonic, P4, or just Persona in general. I would assume. Assume. Does he have more Ace Attorney stuff? Video essays, I would assume. Okay, wait. Let me hold on. Ace Attorney. Okay, just two. Why Phoenix writes as best in Apollo. Without even watching the video, I agree with this as well. Right off the bat. But yeah, Call the Fact Guy. Great fucking video. I agree with pretty much every single thing. God, I fucking love Clavier. I love Clavier. Apollo Justice as a game, as a character, is so dear to me, and I need more. Will we ever get more? No, probably not. Whenever Ace Attorney 7 comes around, it's probably gonna follow the same pattern of having Nayuta appear in one case, and that's about it. And it's so unfortunate. Man, but anyway, great video. Amazing video. Go check this guy out. And end the video. Actually, let me link the video. Hold on. Let me link the video real quick. Yeah, no, this was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let me turn the music back on. Whoops. Now, it has been almost 2 hours. I think I was right in changing the thumbnail because I don't think it's worth it to jump back into the game now. I think we're gonna save that for tomorrow. Let me check something. Is this the one? This should be the one. Nope, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? Because I think we actually are gonna be able to do this in like 1/1.5 hours because it's a lot less characters. Fuck it, we're just gonna do the I had planned to at some point throughout this patch update my HSR tier list of you know, ranking the characters up to 3.8. The last one I did was up to 2.7, so I think I'm gonna do this for each major patch. So it's also gonna be easier to edit, you know, smaller videos. So, but I am gonna have to remake this tier list real quick. But that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna take a little break here. I'm gonna prep the tier list real quick. And yeah, HSR tier list in after the break. After the break. And Ace Attorney tomorrow. But yeah, 10, maybe 15 minutes, and then we'll be back. Dude, And we are back. Let me do this real quick. There we go. Okay, I think I got it. I had to basically redo the entire tier list because I did not save it last time I did it. So there's that. I also got some soup for myself, so if I pause every now and then to eat, apologies, but also not. It is cold here and I crave warm soup. Did I change the stream title? I just did. Ah! I'm keep bumping against my microphone. Anyway. Because I think we can I actually think we can do this within an hour. I think that should be doable because there's not that many characters to rank and update as well. There we go. Nope. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So, impromptu tier list time. Approximately how long ago? I'm assuming 1 year ago, around 2.7. I made a tier list ranking every playable HSR character and some non-playables from best to worst with my somewhat specific tier lists that I think I replicated almost exactly, if not exactly. And today, now that 3.x is officially reaching its end, and our last 3.x character and story have been released, we are going to take another look-see at this tier list, and number one, see if there's any adjustments to be made for already ranked characters that may or may not have gotten more relevancy, screen time over the course of this year. That may be moved up or even down, although I don't think down actually, maybe if anything just up. And also ranking all the new additions, which is essentially the whole Amphoria's cast. I'm gonna actually remove you and you. The entirety of the Amphoria's cast, plus Dahlia. And I have her up here as well because I think we might actually just... We're gonna get to her in a minute. We're gonna get to her in a minute. I have some more of my soup. Oops. Ah, hot. Honestly, maybe I should have just taken like 5 more minutes for my break to eat my food. Maybe I'll just do that now. Maybe I will just sit here and eat my soup now. And we will vibe a bit to some Koreanese music. I'm also gonna just leave the Ace Attorney OSD on because why not? At least that way I can't get jump scared by Slumber Nana. Ha! Hot! Ah! Anyway, starting with characters that we've already ranked before, but just going through this tier list again and seeing where we can make a few adjustments. And I'm gonna start from the bottom because already a few things down here need to be changed. And we are going to start with one character in particular that has quite impressed me, honestly. And I'm gonna remove her puppet version for this and move the Herta in all her glory and all her entirety up to the I like you tier. Because not gonna lie, Puppet Herta, from the few appearances we've had of her that were, again, just her puppet and were kind of the same one trait of her personality shown over and over, from what I remember. I did not like her at first, which is why she was all the way down here with her girlfriend. I did not like her. Amphorius has made me appreciate her character a lot. Mainly because, number one, she's prettier that way. And number two, which does not really change much at all. But number two, we got to see a lot more facets of her personality and who she was. I very much enjoy her, just her voice acting, the way she delivers lines. Her, like, snappy, witty kind of manner of speaking. Pretty fun. And the way we also got to see a more human side of her. It wasn't just, like, she's still very arrogant. She's still a bit of a narcissist. Very much on her high horse, even though I know it is deserved. She is a very smart lady. But I did like getting to see that more approachable side to her without, you know, it made sense. It made sense. That side without losing her arrogance and her attitude. So I'm gonna rank Herda in the I like you tier. And honestly, I think I'm gonna rank her somewhere middle-ish. Once again, these tiers are very loosely sorted. Just because Huohua is above Yanqing doesn't necessarily mean that I like her much more than him. That could change any given day. So this is just like a general... A general, they're somewhere in here. I would probably, now that I think about it, I would probably rank... Yeah, now that I look at it, I might, well... If I spend more than 2 seconds thinking about any of these characters, I'm like, no, I can't keep them in here. So, she would be a 7 out of 10, I think. I think she would be a 7. She'd be a 6.5 at least. Maybe a 7. Let's see. Ranmei, you're staying there. Sparkle, staying. Jade, also staying, I think. Kafka, I'm moving you up to... You're okay. The top of You're okay. Maybe even the bottom of I like you. Not too sure. Maybe even the bottom of I like you. Yeah. She's the benchmark. Because we didn't get to see too much of her in 3.x, but even just 3.0 alone, when I chose to talk to her in that flashback, already made me like her more. A lot of, like, the issue with a lot of these characters is just that we don't get to see them a lot, you know? Oh god. I almost choked. Like, some of these characters... I might like if they actually get more chances to shine. Like Herda, for example. Herda, I think now, pretty good character, pretty solid character. Kafka, she's alright. I like her. Now, let me move you out of the way. Down here. We also have a couple NPCs that we might rank later on. We might rank later on. But anyway, fully getting into the Amphorius cast now. Starting with Mother. Dear old Mother. Didn't like her at first. Well, I didn't like her. I didn't care much for Aglaya's character at first. She was kind of... I understood her character. I got where she was coming from. But it didn't really hit me much, you know? It was around 3.3 in particular when I really started to love her, because then they really honed in on her motherly side and role and showed a more, funnily enough, showed a more human side of her towards the very end when she had already lost most of it. And then scenes like 3.5 came along and we saw Aglaya before she lost her humanity, and she was so fucking cute. And so silly. So I I like her a lot. I might even say I love her. I'm not sure. I'm gonna put her at the top of I like you, but it's close. It's close for sure, for sure. I keep knocking at my microphone. I need to stop that. I need to move that thing further away. So yeah, Aglaya, like her a lot. She is very mother. 3.3, won me over. Treeby. I like Treeby. She might be one of my least favorite Chrysos heirs, which doesn't say that I dislike. I still like her, but I might put her somewhere here, maybe. Somewhere here. Similar to Yanqing and Fugue, maybe, and Huehua. I like her character. Do I like her more than Herda, actually? Okay, here's the thing, right? Do I like Herda more than I remember, actually? Or do I like Treeby less than I do? Now that's interesting. And do I like her more than Marge, actually? Okay, I think I might... Okay, you know what? Next adjustment's made. I'm moving both Marge and Herda up. I'm moving Marge and Herda up, and this could very well be relevancy, like recency bias, because we've interacted with these a lot more recently than we have with any of them. Most of them. Actually, let me move Black Swan up again as well. Around here. Anyone else that I need to, No, I think the rest is good. I'm gonna move Huehua down, but I think I can keep Fugue and Yanqing up for now. I think this might be a little better. I do need to move Natasha down. I will move Natasha down right in front of Bronya. I will move Scroolum up a bit. Around the same area as Treebs and Herda. I think this is going to be a bit of a better ranking. Love Aglaya, but they could have done better with the character. She did, yeah, definitely aspects where I feel like they could have given her better treatment. The off-screening, which, to be fair, despite that, Aglaya definitely is a character that haunts the narrative. So they did well in that aspect. But in terms of, like, showcasing her meaningful scenes, could have done better. Welcome back, Lenny. Let me take another quick break to eat more of my soup before it gets too cold. It is halfway done. It is halfway empty. Next up. Oh boy. I mean, this should come as a surprise to no one. Get up here. I'm not gonna bother ranking where exactly, just here, I guess. If you've seen me at any point while this man was on screen, and you have heard me theorize about everything going on with Mightimos, you know I fucking love him. You know I fucking love Mighty. I love him so much. He was the character that I immediately had my eye on when we got our first glimpse of the Amphorius cast. The colors, the first impression and second impression. From the brute, the at first glance, brutish, reckless, very rough around the edges, kinda reserved guy to male wife mighty, mother mighty, wife guy mighty. My god, I love this man. No questions. His story was incredible. 3.1, one of my favorite patches because it was mighty centered, and I am very biased in that on that front. I fucking love him. I fucking love him. Casteris. Ooh, Cassie is an interesting case. Oops, excuse me. You're right, Fuyat. I do wish we had gotten to see a bit more of Aglaya's past. We know that like she was a noble, and I assume there's more in her character story. But yeah, in terms of like character stories, she did kind of, her and Anaxa kind of got the short end of the stick a little bit. I feel like, for sure. Cassie is an interesting case. I did not care much for casters at first. Although that even already in 3.0 quickly turned around when I discovered that she was not just this reclusive, withdrawn, aloof, quiet girl, that she was actually just a silly little creature who loves her plushies and loves to nerd out about photography and writes her fanfics and her stories, and is actually a lot more upbeat than she first appears. So, with that in mind, I am going to rank her higher. I am going to rank her a little higher than Herda and Tribi. I don't know if I'd rank her higher than March and Himiko. Maybe not quite. Maybe around the same. Maybe around the same. But I like Cassie. I like her a lot. Speaking of characters I like a lot, get up here. Get up here. Maybe a bit on the shorter, well, actually, I love Anaxa. I love Sass. I love, he's like a similar case to Ratio, for like, as for reasons why I like him. He's also just funny as hell. He's such a funny guy. He might be on the lower end of this tier, but it's still a 10 out of 10. He's still one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorites. I know. Shut up. But he's not up here. But well, actually, I might move him up above Rekka. Yeah, around here, like middle-ish. 3.2. The Anaxa sections I actually did enjoy quite a lot. For some reason I also like the story itself, which for some reason I was invested in, although I usually don't care about politics that much. But just his personality is so fun. He's on the one hand such a bitch, but also so kind once you look past that initial scare, I suppose. Similar to Ratio, you know? They do resemble each other in quite a few ways, while still being quite different in their approaches, especially. Like, they're both teachers, both professors, but in different ways. And the potential with this guy also very strong. I mean, not just potential. The insanity going on with Anaxa. Beautiful. Beautiful. Hyacinth. Pink. Hold on. Fuck. Okay. I'm done. Soup has been consumed. Where do I put this? I have no space here. Hold on. I have like no space. My desk is so cluttered. Cass grew on me from I don't know to I'm fond of you, and I have to thank a friend, and my Vidyadra only account for that. That's fair. At least an accident and insult you for asking dumb questions. I mean, to be fair, the thing with Ratio is also that, like, well, I wouldn't say the thing with both Ratio and Naxa is that they're not gonna. They might insult you for dumb questions if they have the feeling that you didn't think them through yourself first. You know? Even Ratio is like, if you just ask a question and he gets the sense that you didn't even bother to try and answer it yourself first, then he'll call you stupid. But if you genuinely spend time trying to figure out the solution and you can't, and you ask him genuinely, I think he would also be more gentle in his response. He wouldn't be as harsh about it. Hyacinth's low-key insane. Her entrance with her reading Aglaya's micro-expressions has forever rubbed me the wrong way, and then there was the post from the official account for Chinese Valentine's Days. But yeah, back to Hyacinth. Hyacinth, I think I like her more than Treeby. Her aesthetic definitely appeals to me more. Do I like her more than Cass? I mean, I might even like her more than March, honestly. I would include her in Ika. In which case, yeah, she gets the buff. She gets the Ika buff. She gets the fat fuck buff. So, pink girlies next to each other. Ooh. Interesting case. Interesting case. Interesting case. Cyphera! Catgirl time! Not gonna lie, at first, wasn't sure what to make of her. Because she, we first got to see her in the 3.2. And there she very much had that, like, very crafty, very sassy, very kind of sparkle-ish attitude, if you know what I mean. Very confident, very cocky, and I didn't know, like, the types of characters that are, like, very, very teasing and very prankster types can be a hit or miss for me. They can be a hit or miss for me, personally. Cypher, at first, I thought she was fine, but nothing really stuck out to me about her. And then 3.3 came. And oh boy, did that do a lot for her character. So now, I would absolutely put her in the I love you tier. No doubt. No doubt. I would put her... I realize I might have to move some of these characters as well. Like somewhere here. Somewhere here. I really love Cypher. I really love Cypher's character. Quite a lot. You know what, actually, now that I think about it, let me move Aglaya up as well. Let me move Aglaya up. I might have to move some characters around in this tier. And again, recency bias is definitely a thing here, I would say. Rappa's still my daughter. Topaz, I still like her a lot. I think I like Aglaya more than Topaz, though. I think I might also like Aglaya more than Jingyuan currently. And you know what? Do it like this. So we have them next to each other, because why not? I think that's better. Yeah, and her simulating the path of elation, that's an automatic bonus. A Cypher SP would be so fun. I like the twist they did with Cypher's character, where yes, she is a trickster, she's a prankster, you know, she's a thief, she's very, very sneaky, but she is also just genuinely a good person. She tries her best to be a good person. and the flashbacks we got with her and Aglaya really, really hit home. Not hit home. They just hit. They fulfill their purpose very well. So, yeah, definitely. She might be like a female character. She might be my favorite. I think she might be my favorite female Amphoria's character, honestly. Speaking of one of my favorite characters, Finon, get up here. Right next to your boyfriend. I mean, do I have to explain this? I don't think I need to elaborate. 3.4 broke me. 3.4 broke me. I don't think I need to explain. It's Finon. Finon, Kazlana, all the different all the different versions, facets of him. Beautiful. Beautiful. And shipping bonus. As I've said, shipping, like, ships will always give bonus points because character relationships improve my impression, my opinion of the character so much. And if I just happen to ship my favorite characters, then automatically they're gonna both end up higher. So there's that. I'm gonna remove Saber and Archer because they're not HSR natives. And I don't know enough about them. I don't want to rank them just based on the collab. Although I do like Archer's sass. I do like his attitude. High Sealants. I like you, but on the lower end. Somewhere around here. Also, I need to let me move this around a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna have to move Luo Cha down as well. Let me move Silver Wolf up a little bit, I think. Up to here, and with that, we'll also carry over these three. I'm gonna be adjusting things as I go as well. As they come to mind. Yeah, High Sealants, I do think both High Sealants and Saridra did get the short end of the stick a little bit by being introduced, well, kind of pretty much introduced, mainly introduced on their release patch. But I still think High Sealants' story was overall pretty well done. Same with Saridra. I can respect her character. I respect her character for what it is. So I'm gonna put her up here with High Sealants. I might like Kafka a little bit more. You should watch the UBW Abridged series. Trust me, you'll understand a lot of things while you have fun. Maybe. Abridged series are always a fun thing. Yeah, Saridra, I didn't really care much of at first, and I like what she is supposed to be, if that makes sense. She's not, like, I don't like her in the way that whenever she comes on screen, I'm like, hey! I'm happy that you're here. A little bit, but not really, not as much. But I think her character was just well executed. She's a lovely, morally gray character. Whether I agree or disagree with her mindset and approach, I understand it and I can respect it. So I think she's just a well-written character. Or just sounds like times 1,000 there. Lovely. Evernight. Maybe right below Screwlums, somewhere in this area. I love her design still. I fucking love Evernight's design. And, you know, the protectiveness over March, the just all of like the Enigmata, obviously, her, like, just her being an Enigmata follower, yeah, but bonus points. I think she's cool. I think she's cool. I think she's all right. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, this is just Dan Heng. So you know what? I'm gonna move this Dan Heng away, and I'm gonna update him. I'm going to upgrade him to dipped. In which case, I mean, he's still up here. He's still up here. Absolutely. I might have to move Blade down a little bit. I don't know if I like Blade more than I do these ones. Maybe I'll move him around here. Yeah, 3.6 definitely or all of Euphorious made me love Dan Heng more. It's the fact that we got to spend more time with him, also just one-on-one time. And the silly moments with him, even without the voice acting, I still thoroughly enjoyed them. And his character development, I genuinely think that Dan Heng is one of the characters that's undergone the most development in this entire show. Game. Because he's a very slow burn character. If you look at Dan Heng from 1.0 versus now, very different characters. Still the same, obviously, but very developed. And I love to see it. I love to see it. And I also prefer... Listen, hey, the dip form, my favorite, personally. It combines as 4-star and 5-star, and I think it does it well. So let me remove you. Next up is Cyrene. Now here's the question. Now here's the thing. Technically this is Mem. So, do we go with Mem? Because technically we have Cyrene, we have Memrene, and we have Philia. And they're essentially the same person, like personality-wise and stuff, but I guess I'm just gonna go with Memrene. With the Demiurge and Mem that becomes Cyrene and yada yada. I like her. I like her. Aesthetically, love her design. Do I like her more than Hyacinth? Maybe not quite. Maybe she's somewhere around... All the pink girlies in one spot. Just replace March with Evernight and it's just a team. It's just a full team. It's a little bit of a... Her character is a little bit of a mess because, like, depending on, like, who I want to... Like, what aspects I want to take into consideration and everything, If this was Philia, if this was the Cyrene that shared her past with Phynon, then I probably would have placed her higher. But because it's not, I'll leave her around here. Otherwise, she probably would have ranked more towards the top here. And with that, I mean, again, I said this was gonna go fast. We are already, at the end of our playable characters, and after that, we're gonna look over it one final time, maybe make some last adjustments, and also get through some of the NPCs here, because we didn't rank a lot of them last time, so may as well. Dahlia. Aesthetically, love her. I vibe with it. And I think I like her. I think I like her. Maybe around here. Lower end of I like you. But for what she's supposed to be, and from what we've seen of her in 3.8, I think she's a good character. I like that she's not just the typical, or not typical, like what was probably expected of her, just being a straight up liar and you know, I mean, her one of her main things is betrayal, but it's not just because like she's a pathological liar or anything, or she just doesn't care about anything. She's just here for the thrill, and her interests and her what she cares about just changes on a whim. You know, she's a very on the go kind of person. She's invested in the moment, but it usually doesn't last long. And I like that little spin on her character, where it's not that she never cares about or cared about any of the factions she was a part of. It's just that she was always seeking the next big thing, you know. So I do very much like that, and I kind of like her succubus-like nature, you know. The although, you know, personally I'm not a fan of like the overly flirty mommy type characters, but I think with her it was pulled off well because that's what she was supposed to be, you know. Like that was made clear right from the start with her animations, her design and everything, her speech patterns, where like, yes, she is supposed to be a very smooth and sultry and seductive kind of character. And if that's the purpose, if that's the point, I can appreciate that. Just like with Cypher, you know, Cypher as well, a very fan servicey character, but she pulls it off, so it doesn't bother me. I like it. The continus, I like it. Did 3.8 improve your opinion of any of the Penacony cast? Right, let's get into the Penacony cast real quick. I mean, the main characters that we got to see were Sunday. I mean, I think he can just stay here. I still love Sunday. I still love Robin. Firefly? Where is she? .8 made me appreciate Firefly's character more. Would I put her higher than this, though? I don't think so. Honestly, I think, like in retrospect, I feel like before 3.8, I might have even put Firefly. I don't know why I ranked Firefly's character this high, as mean as that sounds, because now she would be here. I think before she was a bit lower, and now she's here. They definitely, like, Penacony at first, I think definitely fumbled with her character by, on the one hand, promoting her so strongly, but the story felt kind of lacking because they seem to, in my opinion, rely on a lot of number one fan service, like the romance kind of fan service, and the shock value of her dying 2 hours into the story, or into meeting her. So now should be around here. Yeah. Let me see. Anyone else from the Penacony cast? I mean, Aventurine, of course, still up here. Argenti, naturally. I think that's about it, right? I think that's it in terms of like the Emphoria's and 3.8 cast. Della gets my top 10 just because she gives more info about Katarina through her release, but I do like her as a character as well. Yeah. Sparkle, listen, Sparkle's staying there. You're not moving up, honey. No, you're not moving up. For now, you're staying down there. Maybe 4.x will change that, but for now, we didn't really get to see much. Like, we got to see more of Sparkle, but we didn't really get to learn more about Sparkle. She was kind of the same as she'd been before, so still down here. Let me real quick go through the non-playable cast here, because there's a couple of characters that I think I could rank. Pom Pom, Pom Pom, Pom Pom, Pom Pom. Pom Pom gets honorary mention. Honorary Pom Pom mention. Honorary Pom Pom mention. With the Trailblazers, why not? You, we haven't seen you yet. Shush, no. Albert, honorary mention, but I'm not gonna put him on the board. That's Steven, right? I like Steven. I'm curious about Steven. I'm gonna rank Steven, above these four. I'm very curious about Steven. Siobhan did get more screen time. God, just make her playable. Just make her playable. One of many characters you should make playable. Xandar. I'm gonna rank Xandar and Lygus as 1, but I think Lygus is somewhere down here anyway. Yes, we're gonna get to him in a second. Polka. Not gonna lie. I expected more from her character. Not like more in the sense of like more for me. I don't care much for the direction that they took her character in so far. Like just from that snippet we saw in 3.7 where she spoke to Herda, I thought she was gonna be a bit more like calm or like a bit more stoic. That's kind of what I'd hoped for. So she's okay. I'll put her around here. Draken, thank you for following. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well today and Happy New Year. 3.7 tank the polka stocks. Yeah, I don't know. Like, unless it's just the English direction, but I feel like, meh. Let's see. Who is this supposed to be? Who is this supposed to be? Let me see. Giovanni, you know what? Honorary 10 out of 10 for Giovanni. Honorary 10 out of 10 for Scott. Is that Velite? Is that Velite? If so... Oh. I saw my wife in the high tier. Have a funny rock. Thank you for the bit, Draken. Wait, which one? Which one? Which one? Who's your wife? No mention of Bai Hong. I don't... I like Bong Hong, but Bong Hong. I like Bai Hong, but like... I don't know if I like her enough to put her on a tier, you know? You know what I mean? She, like Albert, gets... You know what? You know what? We're gonna make a new tier. We're gonna make a new tier. Nope, 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 nope. We're gonna make a new tier. Honorary mention. And we're gonna put Scott down here. Actually, no, we're gonna put Scott in the 10 out of 10. We're gonna leave him there. We're gonna put Giovanni here. We're gonna put Bai Hong here. Albert. Where is he? Velite. I mean, Tails here. Do I swap him and Huahua? Honorary mention for Tails as well. Acheron. I see. Yeah, I like Acheron. I like Acheron. I also like her VA, so that's a bonus. Let me see. Oh wait, that's supposed to be Dr. Primitive? Fuck, okay. Honorary mention, but I would... Well, if I can put Steven up there, I can put Dr. Primitive up there, so I'll put them together. If that's supposed to be Dr. Primitive, then, yeah. I might, we might have a bit of a problem. Because just from the, like, 3 lines that he's spoken, he seems so funny. Oh god. And so elation coded that I fear I might have to put him up there. Let's see. Honorary mention for Oleg, because why not? What's his name? The Moklatov, Moktok. Nah, you're a bitch. I'll leave you down. Gopherwood, go fuck yourself. Do I put him? Yeah, you know what? I'll put him down here because I actively dislike this man. Same as you. Micah, honorary mention. The Express guys, were former nameless. I'm gonna leave them. I'm gonna leave them for now. I said I wouldn't rank the Fate collab characters, but you honorary mention because you were with Boothill. Same for Miss Note. Same for 1 week. Rama at the bottom, fuck she do. I just don't like her character. Her introduction very much like was a miss for me. And I am also a little bitter because of the way that the game makes you treat her nice in comparison to certain other characters who have committed less atrocities than her, but for some reason deserve more hate. Sorry, I had something stuck in my throat. Is she on the same tier as Gopher and Odie? That's fair. That's fair. She is at the very bottom of meh. But I don't hate her the way I do Gopherwood. Like, with her, it's like, I don't care for her most times, and whenever I see her, I'm like, It's just annoyance, mostly. But these two I like actively dislike. So, yeah. She gets a minor upgrade. She gets a minor upgrade. If Jade's a 4, then she's like a 2.5, so she's barely in this tier. Rama gave us a second ting, at least that's one good thing. Yeah, I guess. That'll be her bonus 0.5 points. Tap at the top balances it out. See? There we go. Let's see. Mem. Do I honor it? Okay, wait. Okay, now we have Mem and we have Cyrene. But that Cyrene is still Okay, hear me out. We're switching things around. Mem as a stand-in for Memrini. This one as a stand-in for Philia/Peach, which includes her relationship with Finon. In which case, I will put her at the top of this tier. We'll do that. Because Philia and her in 3.4 with Finon and the potential there, I love. The sibling dynamic, I'm a fan of. Bartholo/Zagreus, honorary mention. Kindness, go fuck yourself. Is that Nias? If so, honorary mention. Same with Krateros. Same with the Flame Reaver. Same with Cersei's. Gorgeous. Okay, hold on. Technically, I don't like Lygus, but I love to hate him. He does not deserve to be on the same tier as these characters. But I wouldn't put him in I like him. But this tier list already has too many tiers. Also, you know what? I am gonna make this a little bit smaller, just so it's... Okay, that's better. And also, make it pink. Why not? Yeah, but like that's a whole nother tier, you know? I don't want to... This already has too many tiers, that's the problem. I put Lycus on the same tier as Sunday because of the generational brain rot. I stand by my point that the Charmony Dove wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad. It made more... It was more appropriate, in my opinion, than the fucking cave. At least the Charmony Dove was connected to a personal backstory and motivations. The cave is the cave. And also it's Lygus versus Sunday. I'll put you in honorary mention because you're complicated. You know what? I'm gonna put one tier at the bottom. That's just gonna be... Nope. That's just gonna be... Lygus. He gets his own tier. And I'm gonna make it gray. He deserves his own tier. There we go. There we go. Let's see. Is that Cartonis? Honorary mention. Is that Kefali? Oh yeah, we're getting to the Titans now. I'm gonna leave out the Titans. Minus Zagreus because Zagreus. Katarina, I mean, I love her, but we don't know enough about her. So for now, she's honorary mention. Well, for now, she's at the top of honorary mention. Anyone else? Polixia as well. Anyone else that needs to be ranked? I think we should be good, maybe? Katarina has potential to be one of my favorite characters, by the way. She has potential, we just need to see more of her. You're right, you're right. Where are they? Where are they? 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Actually, yeah. Let me see. Any Eons that that are worth... Actually, I don't know. I'm kind of vibing with Klepoth, but I'm also biased towards Belobog. So, I guess I'm not gonna count that. Do we have something for the beauty? Do we have a thing for the beauty, maybe? Oh, we also have that. Wait, we also have the Lord Ravagers. Honorary mention for Zephyro and Asat Pramad. Yeah. 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 Is the Tooth Adrilla? If so, honorary mention for Adrilla. Why is the Tooth Adrilla? Whatever the case, honorary mention. Also for Hanu. We got a lot of honorary mentions. So there's that. What about my favorite relic set? You know what? Sure, he gets an... You know what? The entire mansion... Well, not the entire ones. I'm the ones I'm curious about, which is these three. I don't really care about Dubra, I think is her name. I don't care too much about her yet. Not because of the description. Which yeah, probably something in the description. Yeah. All right. Let's have another final look-see here. But I think we adjusted pretty much everything there that was worth adjusting. The tooth is related to Argenti, but I have no clue why they didn't use the statue of his art. Oh well. Oh well. Again, very roughly ranked. For most of these characters, at least, you know, in sections, their rankings could change depending on the day and depending who we've seen most recently. But I think overall... What do you think of the whole Veld VA situation? I haven't been keeping up with the entirety of it, but from what I've heard is that it's the studio. It was another case of the studio fucking up somehow. I know that at first people really started like. At first they were on Corey's side. Then apparently some like court case leaked that most people probably didn't even properly read and immediately turned on him for. And then they turned back when that interview came out and he clarified a few points and people were like, oh, it's actually the studio. Which wouldn't surprise me because the VA studio, like, there's a lot of like VA studios that have fucked up in the past with contracts and voice actors not getting paid on time. And it's God. Veld's new VA has some big shoes to fill. And I already feel so bad for him, and I feel bad for Corey as well, honestly. If like he also was innocent in that situation. At least mostly, you know. I do think that he kind of fucked up by essentially by leaking an employee's, what was it, like email or something while covering it. Like that was dumb. But I think he also addressed it already as well in an interview or something. I don't know. God, I'm gonna miss Veld's voice though. I'm gonna miss Veld's voice. It's gonna be so. I do wonder who they're gonna get. I do wonder who they're gonna hire next. Yeah, the whole email thing definitely was unfortunate, and from what I recall, and I hope that's true, that he like addressed that as well, or like addressed that and took accountability for that. It's unfortunate, but still all the best to him and all the best to his new voice actor, whoever that's gonna be. I do wonder who would fit, you know? Do we have Yuri Lowenthal yet? I think like a Dainsleif kind of voice would fit him. You know, it's close enough. I'm trying to think of who else I could imagine. Not the first time. Oh yeah, it's not the first time we lost it. We lost a handful of them. We lost a handful of them throughout, you know, for like reasons like the strike, being recast. We lost our two Trailblazers, Caleb Yen, Rachel, what's her name? Rachel Chow, I think. We also got Honkai Impact 3rd Veld. I mean, but that's only in, like, that one doesn't have an English voiceover, does it? So, you know. We lost quite a few. Meanwhile, there are certain voice actors whom I would not have been upset about losing that are still around, unfortunately. But alas. Alas. At least a lot of the ones that I personally love are still around, you know? Like Molly, Allegra, Camden, Josh and Gabe, Roger, Rose, Andrew, like... Sayu, obviously. Ben. A lot of them are still around, thankfully. As long as Molly stays, yeah, dude. Give Molly, give Zayla more screen time and Molly more speak. Trailblazers, Tail. Oh yeah, Tail's changed too, didn't it? Or was it Tail or was it Huahua? Argenti, Vel, Dahlia. Oh yeah, Dahlia, I guess too. Molza, Tingyun. Let me look here. Ooh, anyone else? She's lost way more money on HSR than she's earned. Truly, truly. I think that may have been it. At least of the notable characters that I can think of. OG March Way from beta. Oh yeah, I did hear about that. But yeah. Anyone else? I think that may have been it. I think that may have been it. But yeah, quite a few. Quite a few for sure. And I hope it's not gonna be more. I hope it's not gonna be more. God. But yeah, I think this is where, and as as today, once 4.x concludes, we are probably gonna come back to this tier list and update it. I think that's gonna be best. That's also gonna be the most digestible for sure. Which is also why I want to go back to some of the other tier lists that I've made, maybe, and update them over time in like smaller batches, like the red flags tier list, the parents tier list and stuff. That'd be fun. Oh yeah, dude, the way that like many people, like Himeko also would have been ashamed, don't get me wrong. But if they, like, with Nicholas, dude, there was a period where, like, we really had to just pray. We just had to pray. I'm so glad that Nicholas is still around. I put Ron May and Lygus tier. They both like to play God. Yeah, but I don't love to hate Ron May like I love to hate Lygus. With Ron May, I just don't like her. Lygus is fun to pick apart and to insult and to bash on. With Ron May, that's not really fun. It's just kind of, nah, I don't like you. I don't care for you being here. So I'll throw hands if they touch Acheron's VA. Oh yeah, I think I know who Acheron's JP VA is. She's a pretty famous one. Yeah. I would also throw hands if they replace her English VA. Allegra's fucking great. I love Allegra. The title of the stream is a little different than I remember. Yeah, we had a change of plans. After spending 2 hours yapping, I was like, it's not worth it to hop into Ace Attorney anymore. We're gonna do that tomorrow, though. We're gonna do that tomorrow. In other news, I have finished my chalky milk. Well, almost. Almost. One guy I love to hate is Japard for losing every single 50-50 to him. He's my goat, though. That is fair. Hey, personally, I say that if you genuinely hate a character, a standard character, because you keep losing to them, that's a skill issue. But jokingly, go all out. Go off. I love Japard. I love him, as you may be able to see. The post that Acheron created after Dialogue got remarketed was fun. Yeah, I don't remember what exactly it was, but it was fun. Same. I like the few characters that I don't mind losing my 50-50 to. Like, apart from the usual, you know, I lost, and that's a lot of pulls that are gone now. But I love Japard. Blade is fine. Zayla as well. Yanqing is okay. Veld, I'm not mad about. Mostly those, yeah. Mostly those. Mostly those. Only characters I hate are... Wait. Luca and Sunday. Okay, to be fair, Sunday is not a real hot take because he's a complex character. Sunday is a complicated character, so I cannot understand not agreeing with him and not liking him. Luca is interesting. Luca is surprising. Sunday is a complex character, and people have always had mixed opinions about him, whether they understood his character or not. And when she was like threatening Phylon about her reputation of offering destruction path followers. Oh yeah, that little, I saw a little animation. That was fun. That's fair, Luca. But see, Lion. See, in my case, I wouldn't classify that like a character like that. I wouldn't say I dislike or hate them. I would just say I don't care for them. You know. If I find a character boring, I don't dislike them. Characters I dislike are those that actively, like, their personality or behavior rub me the wrong way or make me uncomfortable. You know? Characters like Qingchue or Yun or Su Shang or Fu Xuan are those that I'm like, I don't really care about you. You're there, you're fine, but nothing special to me. Yeah. I get not caring for Luca. I like himbos. I like the peppy ones. I like the himbos. So I like Luca. The bitch at the bottom. Wait, who? Disclaimer that like Lygus has his own tier. This does not mean that Lygus is like lower than these. Well, no, Lygus is not lower than these characters per se. It's just that he's different. He's special. So he has to be here. Like these are characters that I like, but not enough to rank, and Lygus is just Lygus. But I wonder who you mean. Do you mean Kindness? In which case, yeah, fuck Kindness. So Lygus should be above that fraud. To be fair, I'm gonna... But see, that's my numbers. My numbers. My numbers. That'll mess up my numbers, and my brain does not like that. These have no numbers. Lygus, well, kind of positive, kind of negative, kind of. If the tier list is complete, then take her off the tier list. No, I'm gonna leave her there because I cannot stand her ass. I care enough about her to rank her as I don't like you. So I can't take her off. Oops. The first genius and the first failure. Hater of his own creation and too much of a yapper that caused his second creation to get stuck at 99%. Yeah, dude. I'll keep saying it. Lygus, as fun as he is and as smart as he is in one way, he's also kind of stupid. Like, his hubris has gotten in the way of, like, his entire plan, and it's so funny. See, Lenny, but then what number do I give them? Because they have no number. These characters have no number. These characters have no number! Ah! You know what? I can do this though. I can do this. Maybe this will be better actually. Maybe... I could do this because then I can at least separate them better, you know? Maybe like this. The Tooth character is apparently, possibly, supposed to be a Drilla. And I'm curious, I'm interested in a Drilla. Oh. Oh, that's a straw. slurping ASMR. Beautiful. His theme was peak though. His theme was a banger. Not my style, but I can appreciate it. It was a banger. Is that part of the... Nope, that was all me. Why not Kokolia and Svarak? You know what, actually? Kokolia here, Svarak in the honorary mentions. You're right, you're right. The Eon of Beauty is a truth. Da 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 da. Okay. With that, I think we're done, right? I believe we are done. I believe we are done. We're gonna do the same thing again next year. Adjust characters as we go. Or not as we go. Adjust older characters, add the new ones. And over time, this tier list is going to become a monster of hundreds upon hundreds of characters, but that's fine. With that, tomorrow we will actually continue Ace Attorney. Tomorrow we will actually continue the Great Ace Attorney. I don't know if we're going to be able to finish case 1, depending on how long it is. But at the very least, we're going to continue it. Cirrus can go F itself. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. I don't care enough to rank it, but that is very valid. So that's that. A quick little update that I would like to say mostly done with my new model. Hopefully within the next month, I will get to show it to you guys, because my the emotes are commissioned and the art is already in the works. They just sent me the first sketch today, so hopefully it'll be done within like the next 1 to 2 months. And I'm mostly done with the rigging process. And I already have like other stuff like set up, so I'm very excited for that. Very excited for that. It's such a pretty model. It's so pretty. Will we get the blue eyes back? Unfortunately, not. You will not get the blue eyes, but you will get very pretty eyes. You will get very pretty eyes. Yeah, this is a model that I've had basically sitting around for like a year or so, because at first my friend offered to rig it for me, but she got like caught up in a lot of like, but she was just very busy with like school, medical, like health related stuff, so she couldn't do it after all. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll teach myself. So if it ends up looking a bit clumsy, that's why, but I couldn't be bothered to pay another 300 euros to get someone to rig it for me. And it, you know, it could have been worse. But yeah, I also have an art commissioned, and the emotes will be there as well. Aventurine eyes, well, I wouldn't say close, but they're still gonna be red-ish, but they're gonna have something a little special thing to them, and that also ties into a bit of a theme that I want to like establish a bit more for myself that I've kind of done here and there. And I would also love to eventually commission like more like assets targeted towards that just specific aesthetic. But again, money and stuff. But yeah, I am very excited. I'm very excited about it. It's gonna be new model, new emotes, new art. I also want to get started. I also want to get to making a logo, just a simple one. So that might be another thing. Maybe, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, tomorrow the great Ace Attorney, same time as usual. I thank you all for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. Consider following the Twitch, the Twitter, the Blue Sky, the YouTube if you like anime reactions. We just started Twisted Wonderland on Patreon this week. And we have other shows as well that we're currently watching, including but not limited to Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, Lord of Mysteries. We finished The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. And yeah, Twisted Wonderland is gonna be a thing, a regular thing from now on. And yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Once again, Happy New Year to all of you. And I wish all of you a lovely rest of your day and night, whatever time it is for you. Stay safe, take care, and I may see you again tomorrow or next week or whatever. Bye-bye! Live, laugh, love, Clavier Gavin.